Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rewind, episode number 40 for Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. I'm Marty Sleva, joined by Darren Mooney, Jack Packard, and producer Eric. We got a great show for you today. We're gonna go deep on A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, the latest Game of Thrones series, which wrapped up its first season over the weekend. We'll be chatting about all sorts of other stuff we watched. There's a little bit of an update on the X-Files TV series coming from Ryan Coogler that I'm excited to hear Darren's thoughts on. Also, I was literally taken aback before the opening because Darren mentioned I wanted to drink a glass of water like the King's Speech. Like the concept of drinking water from a glass was created by the early 2010s Oscar winner, The King's Speech.
Clearly, you are not in deep in the work of the great British director Tom Hooper, responsible for masterpieces like The King's Speech and Cats, obviously. But yeah, at the start of that movie, there's a whole big thing about a tray of water being lozenges being brought to the man who's about to read the announcement, because you see, it's a movie about speaking. Makes you think.
It should have started. They should have had one of those shots. How Uncut Gems starts with the colonoscopy. It should have started inside the throat. They should have had more uvula movement.
I'm sure that would have played really well with the audience for The King's Speech.
Who are around to
hear
The King's Speech live.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing? We're kind of in a weird middle ground for movies. I'm looking though. The next couple episodes, we got we're just it's all gas, no brakes in terms of big releases. In the next episode, we can talk about Scream 7 and slashers. Then we can talk about Project Hail Mary and the Oscars. Then we can talk about Super Mario Brothers Galaxies of the movies. I think I added too many colons because of the Nirvana, the band.
I don't think it's the colons I think it's the plurals that were the issue there. Super Mario Brothers Galaxies, the movies.
Listen, there's possible they go to multiple galaxies. We don't know.
And there's possible that it takes place during multiple movies. We don't know.
Yeah, there's really no way to know.
I would love to do that in the middle of a movie. Just be like, the movie's over, but don't worry, we had a second one and it's starting right now.
Right now.
That's ballsy. I appreciate that.
Yes, there is a comedy movie that I know nothing about called Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. I know nothing about it. I have heard from friends that it is delightful and I should see it, but the only theater it is playing in near me is a 45-minute drive away from me. And I tried to go to a screening last night, but they posted the wrong time. So instead of seeing the movie, I took a lovely hour-and-a-half long drive.
Through the scenic suburbs of Milwaukee.
Through the deep conservative suburbs of whatever west of Milwaukee.
Just looking at the window going, this truly is God's country.
Incredible. Before we jump into Night the Seven Kingdoms, I did want to I mentioned at the top I wanted to talk a little bit about this X-Files thing. There's not a whole lot of meat to chew on, but news came out via Deadline that progress is being made with the I don't want to say Ryan Coogler helmed, but the X-Files reboot sequel ? Series that Ryan Coogler is working on through Hulu. A pilot has been ordered, and Danielle Deadwyler, who was great in the Emmett Till movie a few years ago, is one of the two leads. Darren, I mean, as I would say, one of the foremost experts on the X-Files, and that's not bullshit. What do you think about this?
You'd be surprised how often that comes up in conversation. But no, this is the thing where, and it's also worth noting that, obviously, as a result of buying Fox, Disney are also, thank you very much, Eric. But listeners will also be aware that due to Disney buying Fox, there's also the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot coming from Chloe Zhao, which is really interesting as well. It's kind of interesting that those two projects are twinned, because I think Coogler and Zhao were both at Sundance together.
And so it's literally on their first movies, I think they were. Yeah.
So it's really interesting. That's their career path is so clearly mapped that it goes to Marvel movie, both obviously equally successful and well regarded, to be clear, and then into ABC/Hulu/streaming reboot of beloved property that Disney bought. For
listeners who don't understand who directed what, Ryan Coogler directed the Black Panther series, whereas Chloe Zhao directed The Eternals, a movie no one remembers.
Two of us and an overwhelming majority of this panel enjoyed that movie. And by that, I mean Darren and I both liked it.
And to be clear, to prove Jack's point that nobody remembers that movie, I believe the title is actually just Eternals. I don't think there's a definite article.
Get rid of the, it's cleaner. Justin Timberlake came in and gave him
David Levine and Kevin Feige was like, huh. And Justin Timberlake's also shoot outside. And he's like, Yeah, it is just Eternals. But I'm broadly speaking, look, obviously I'm excited for anything that Coogler does. Coogler is like, I would argue, a generational talent in terms of filmmakers. And it is really sweet that he is using his kind of leverage to attach himself to a project that he's been quite open about. Is something he has a very strong emotional attachment to. I believe he used to watch the show with his mother. So him bringing it back is kind of a love letter to his mother. And that's the kind of thing that I honestly quite like. It's a much more interesting answer for why are you doing this than, well, they paid me a lot of money, or wasn't really doing anything else, or I thought my name would look good above the title of it. So I'm actually like really curious about it. I'd really like to see it. Coogler, obviously, he did a vampire movie, so he's clearly in the same space as the X-Files. He's got clearly aligned with that sort of like, well, with the worldview, but also with like the tone and that sort of stuff as well. I am obviously, on the other hand, kind of quite anxious about the idea of like rebooting the X-Files. Obviously, look, it comes for us all. We live in a world where like The Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming later this year. We've had Sex and the City reboots. Nothing is sacred. Anything you can remember will be wrung dry. But part of me is also like, the X-Files is, to me, so clearly tied to the time in which it released, which was the 90s. And like the creator of it, which is Chris Carter, that it feels almost kind of sacrilegious for me to see somebody else kind of take it and put their name on it and put their stamp on it. Where like, for all the flaws that the X-Files had, and Marty has watched the X-Files, he's well aware that there are flaws, particularly as you get that. Marty just gave me the thumbs up to verify what I was saying. But particularly as the show goes on and Carter kind of chases his muse in the direction that his muse chooses to run, it does kind of lead to some very strange, very weird choices. Eric has just put up a screenshot for Jose Chung's From Outer Space, one of the greatest hour that ever existed. It is incredible. But his muses, it didn't always lead conducive. Like the revival seasons, I think, are interesting objects. I don't think they're entirely successful. They gave us like 3, maybe 4 all-timer episodes. That's seasons of television, if we're being frank. But I do also kind of feel like I would be more excited for this if it were just Ryan Coogler untitled paranormal TV show. Like, I feel like I would have more, and obviously, I am not speaking for the majority of audiences. The Disney shareholders will be bagging down the market research. Ryan Coogler untitled paranormal TV show is in no way.
Oh, okay.
No, I think Eric just switched places. I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so I'm optimistic. I think this is the best case scenario for what was inevitable, even if I kind of wish that we could maybe let this thing lie.
Yeah, I'm hoping the reaction is similar to how we talk about Andor or even like Wonder Man, where it's like, okay, you wanted to get this genre thing or this idea made, and maybe you had to like, put the pill inside a piece of cheese that is a long-standing IP, but sometimes that works. And I do trust Coogler. And to be clear, Coogler is not going to be the showrunner.
No.
The showrunner is a woman named Jennifer Yale, who's worked on a handful of series I have not watched, but also was one of the producers of Legion, which I know Darren and I both love, but she worked on Outlander, Spelunky, and Your Friends and Neighbors. I don't know. The only thing I know about C is I think Everyone is Blind on the show, and Nick watched it. And so
that's I think I've told this story before, but that's the only time I've said no to a pitch from Nick. When Nick was like, Darren, you should write about C, and I'm like, I don't think I should, Nick. I've tried. I gave it the old college try.
I don't want to take away your love of this ridiculous thing, so I will not write about it.
No, I may have actually stared at a blank page and been like, this is what most of the characters in C see. And this is my profound statement on C.
It was the first time Darren was ever at a loss for words. Just didn't have anything. I have nothing in the tank.
That is quite literally it. If you have watched C, it is an insane show. But like very sprung, fully formed from the mind of, I think it's Stephen S. Knight. No, it's not Stephen S. Knight. It's Stephen Knight. It's the guy who did Locke, the movie about concrete pouring, but also the man responsible for Serendipity. And it is kind of more in the Serendipity zone. Jack,
have you ever seen Serendipity? Not the one with John Cusack.
I was gonna say the rom-com with
not
Serenity.
that
Sorry,
one, which is
Serenity.
delightful.
Is it
Serenity? Yeah, Serenity.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Serendipity.
Yeah.
Serenity, but not the
Serenity.
Joss Whedon one.
What?
there was a movie like,
but not the John Cusack one. Serenity, but not the Firefly movie.
Yes, this came out like 7 years ago, 8 years ago maybe, and I kind of don't even want to explain. We should watch it for a movie night sometime.
It's an incredible movie, and I cannot believe it. It's great because it's a movie that has an insane twist, but that insane twist is so heavily telegraphed that you're sitting there going, "There's no way the movie's going to do what I think it's going to." This
can't be the twist.
And the movie's like, "Watch me, baby." It stars like Jeremy Strong stars as the Rules, and Matthew McConaughey hunts a tuna fish named Justice.
It's Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Diane Lane, Jeremy Strong, Jumanzu Hansu, and Jason Clarke. It's like a phenomenal cast in arguably like one of the worst, weirdest movies I've ever seen.
I'm putting it on my list right now.
It's a real nobody said no movie, which I kind of admire the gumption of. Yeah,
you do have to appreciate it. Yeah, gotta appreciate it. I'm already just regretting because I chose my movie for tonight that we're watching for the Patreon movie night, and if you're in the Phoenix tier, we're watching a movie at about 5 hours from now, 5:30 p.m. CT. I forgot. I almost called it Serendipity existed. I forgot whatever this name. Movies shouldn't be able to have the same name. What are we doing? You got it. Just choose a different name.
Or share most of their letters with the name of another movie as well.
It's all too confusing.
We need rules.
It's all too confusing. Yeah.
But look, it's okay. In like 5 years' time, when Chloe Zhao offers her gritty reboot, The Eternals, it'll all work itself out.
Yes.
You know what? Maybe she can introduce Kumail Nanjiani, who is in the Eternals, to Ryan Coogler, who's obviously, and he's one, along with Darren, one of the 5 biggest X-Files fans of all time. So there you go. Yeah. I don't know. There was really no other details with the X-Files story, but I mean,
you know, and it's like, as someone who, you know, like I don't have the deep love that you two have for X-Files, but of course I've watched X-Files. I've enjoyed X-Files. I enjoy a nice Monster of the Week story, which is something we don't get anymore. And so all my hope is that give us a Monster of the Week story.
There's my question.
He said it's going to be that, doesn't he? He said,
do you think it's going to lean into Monster of the Week over mythology? Do you think it'll have some mythology? Can a show exist in the year 2026 without some kind of overarching mythology?
It's gonna have to have a mythology, because the mythology is still what people. It's ironic, right? Because when the show was on, the mythology was the biggest part of the show, and everybody was always very invested in the mythology. And then, slight spoilers for the TV show The X-Files, which ended about 27 years ago. The resolution of the mythology was not what everybody had hoped it would be. The crossing of the I's, the dotting of the T's was not as elegant as one might have hoped. And in fact, again, Marty has seen the season finale of the series finale of their genre, The X-Files, which is an incredible piece of television because it is mostly Chris Carter standing in front of like a PowerPoint presentation going, I told you it all made sense. It's like, this is what the bees were for. And it's like, when were the bees? They're like 5 years ago. Pay attention. Now we're going to talk about the oil. It is
also, it's funny that he was doing it because it's like, unless you owned them on VHS at the time, no one was going back and watching those. So it's like, I literally don't remember the bees. What are you?
Yeah. Luckily, Marty, he had a PowerPoint presentation for you.
Very true. Very true.
The mythology was like, when the show was on, it was the hub of what people were talking about. It drove a lot of the online conversation. But it's interesting that like after that wrapped and after it became very clear the mythology, you know, for better or worse, was kind of an empty balloon, the focus became the Monster of the Week. And I do think you can't do the X-Files without mythology, but I do think it's one of the benefits of the mythology kind of imploding in the way that it did, is that now you also can't do it without Monster of the Week. And I suspect what you will get is a version structurally quite similar to the revival seasons, which I believe were they 8 and 11 episodes each. So you're not going to get a full 20-odd episode season. You'll probably get maybe 12 episodes, and it'll be like top and tail will be mythology. There'll be 1, maybe 2 mythology two-parters in the middle, and the rest will be kind of standalone Monster of the Week episodes. That's what I suspect you'll get. But who knows?
Little bit like I'm forgetting already the Columbo remake with Natasha Lyonne.
Oh, Poker Face.
Poker Face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think like a little Peter Dinklage. It was always Peter Dinklage.
It was always Peter Dinklage. But you know, like obviously that had some broader lore to it, but every episode was a self-contained thing. So that would be nice.
Yeah. That was a good show. Mm-hmm. Great. We got a bunch of super chats come in, a lot of good ones. But I feel like we should start by jumping into Night of the Seven Kingdoms and do super chats afterwards, because a lot of them are relating to things we'll be talking about a little later on in the
Great.
pod as well.
Real quick, as we are talking about Monster of the Week, I see Sir Jarn Arbuckle say, I can't even remember, did Netflix's The Witcher do the Monster of the Week thing? No, they did not. They went lore heavy, which was a bad idea.
And I remember it that like every season premiere would have like a Monster of the Week type element to it to remind you of how much fun Monster of the Week were. And that's like straight into lore, baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's an episode in the recent season where he goes through a graveyard and meets Lawrence Fishburne with Baron Mordo hair. And I'm like, yeah, give me more of that. It's like, well, I hope you like mythology.
Which is what the original short stories were. They were just short little bite size. Like, what if it was Disney, but they fucked? Like,
I mean, I think there is a power in just creating a show that's built around side quests, right?
Yeah,
like
100%.
Side quests are fun. You could tell little short stories. You don't have to be like, oh, how are we gonna have the payoff from last season next season kind of thing.
yeah.
Like again, Kumail Nanjiani is always asked to list his favorite X-Files episodes, and I'm often asked to point people to my favorite X-Files episodes, and it's always like Monsters of the Week. And I think like there are some great mythology episodes. I love certain mythology episodes. I think like some of them are spectacular, but like a nice 45-minute chunk of television you can just watch. Like I point to Jose Chung's From Outer Space. You can watch that knowing nothing about the X-Files, and in 45 minutes just get a wonderful piece of television. And so many of the like Bad Blood is like that. Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose is like that. Mondays like there's
of the newer episodes. The one Monster of the Week one I really like was the mostly silent one with technology, where like technology is fucking over Mulder and Scully. Yeah.
Written by as a Kristen Cloak, who I believe is married to Glenn Morgan, who also was a cast member on the TV show Millennium.
Wow. Okay.
She was also in Space Above Me and she died in the first Final Destination. She was the teacher in the first Final Destination as well.
R.I.P. Final Destination's so good. I like it when bad things happen to them in funny ways. Like a big old pane of glass falls on them.
I think when bad things happen to people who don't really have any characteristics defining them whatsoever, because I like that you're almost would say when bad things happen to bad people. It's like, no, most of them don't really get personalities, so it's
fantastic.
Is it the fifth Final Destination is like inexplicably good? The one that turns out to be like a secret? Yes, the one with the ending. Yeah, which is like inexplicably good.
Yeah, 5 is a secret prequel to 1.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Okay, well, not anymore, it isn't, Marty.
Wow.
Was the statute of limitations not up on that?
That's fair.
You know what? If you guys would have read the books, you wouldn't have got fucking spoiled. Final Destination Choose Your Own Adventure books would be kind of fun.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do they have
How come we don't have adult Choose Your Own Adventure books? Are those video games?
Those are probably video games.
Those are Telltale games. Actually, there's a Final Destination Telltale game you can probably have fun with.
That would be great. Can we just stop the show and make this? Okay, no. This was we're 20 minutes in. We haven't gotten to the thing yet. We're gonna talk about Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We're talking about Night of the Seven Kingdoms. This is when we talk about Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Do we want to have a small non-spoiler section and then a spoiler section?
Sure.
I guess a non-spoiler now. Just being overall thoughts on it, whether we'd recommend it, that kind of thing. Darren, your backdrop this morning that you and Jesse worked on actually went live. So, let folks know what did you think of Night of the Seven Kingdoms?
Really liked it. I've been very consistently being the drum for Thread. I think it is a show that got really better as it went on. I thought it started out very solid and it ends somewhere that is like surprisingly moving and affecting. It begins as a story that is very small and very focused and feels very much like a refocusing and a recentering of the franchise. It is one of those things very similar to Wonder Man earlier this year, where it's like, can we do this gigantic franchise on a reasonable budget in a moderate location with a decent cast and a hope that people will turn out for it? And it seems like in this case, at least the answer was yes. It is really, really charming. It is very small scale. It's very intimate. The bulk of the season takes place over the course of what must be a couple of days in a single confined location with a relatively tight cast. It, to me, is a really interesting work because it does that thing that I love when kind of like franchise spin-offs do, which is this idea of being in conversation with the original work, understanding the original work and what the original work is about and understanding what it is saying, but coming at it from a different angle, right? Because I don't just want more Game of Thrones. There's like 7 seasons of Game of Thrones, 5.5 good ones. But like there's enough Game of Thrones there that I don't need more of it. If I like the world of Game of Thrones or I like the idea of Game of Thrones, show me something fresh and something interesting. Give me a fresh perspective. And I think that like Night of the Seven Kingdoms is really interesting because it is a work that is obviously in conversation with Game of Thrones, takes place within the world of it, is engaged with the big ideas of it, but gives us a unique perspective and angle on it, which we haven't seen before, where, like, the slightest of possible spoilers here, midway through the first episode, the character goes to attorney. And Eric, that was not a serious spoiler suggestion. I'm 15 minutes into the premiere here. Thank you, Eric.
People are going to be like, oh, I got to stop. I got to mute it. Okay, I can unmute it.
No. But like 15 minutes in the premiere, he goes to attorney, and most of the season unfolds at that tourney. Tourneys take place in the backgrounds of Game of Thrones or like House of the Dragon episodes. And this becomes the entire season. And it's a really charming TV show with a really charming cast that builds to an ending that to my mind feels entirely earned and kind of almost profound in a way, where it has things to say about not only the world of the show and the logic of the show and the themes of the show and the themes of Game of Thrones, but also maybe something to say about, just gonna stroke my chin as I say this, about the world we live in today.
But we're all just a couple of hedge knights trying to find our way in the world.
Maybe what the world needs is a few more good men. All right.
A few more good eggs, if you will.
Yeah, Jack, I think you burned through it all pretty recently. What did you think?
I burned through it all pretty recently. One, because I couldn't see that screening of the movie I wanted to see, so I got a couple extra episodes in, and then said, fuck it.
While driving, which was a risky move.
Well, and it is one of the things that differentiates itself from prior Thrones is the episodes are like half an hour, and there's 6 of them. So it's like the length of a movie.
It's a movie. It's a movie. It's a movie. When you cut the credits out, it's a movie. Yeah.
Amazing to watch it. Like, wait, it's done. I can refill my coffee. Shit, this is amazing.
Yeah.
No, like I love the stakes. I love the tension in it. You know, like this is not a spoiler, but one of the biggest points of tension in the entire series is, can he find 6 dudes? Not even 6 specific dudes.
Yeah.
Just 6
Any
dudes.
will do. Any will.
It's like, I got to get into this bar fight outside, and there's 7 of them, so I need to find 6 dudes in this bar who will go outside and fight for me.
I don't need to find 6 specific people. I need to find any 6 dudes at all. Like that was the biggest
no
point
barrier
of tension
to entry
in the entire season. And you know what? It was incredibly affecting. It was a, like, when spoiler alert, when the 6th dude showed up, it was moving. Eric, no, it's not real spoiler.
It would have been incredible if Eric, when you mentioned 6 dude, put up a picture of the 6th dude, like sight unseen, not even knowing that you'd be like, I feel like this guy's got big 6th dude energy.
Yeah. He feels like the kind of guy you can put a cliffhanger in the 4th episode.
Like a genuinely hype moment. I feel exactly the same. I thought this was delightful, and I would watch one of these every year and a half, literally until I die. Like, I would just be like, what kind of other adventures are the 2 of these guys going to get into?
I think Martin's writing more of them, right? Because there are 3 of them published, and Martin's been like,
writing.
I'm just going to... No. This is the thing. Like, Martin is never going to finish, like, Game of Thrones. In fact, part of me suspects, like, the Song of Ice and Fire is, like, it's finished already. It's just not going to be published. Thank you for the 6 dudes, Eric. It's just not going to be published until after he's dead, because he does not want to deal with that. But, like,
I do have a theory it's already done. I do think those books might already be done. Yeah.
But he'll crank out, like, the Royal Shakespeare Society is putting on a Game of Thrones play he wrote.
Yeah.
Like, he can do this stuff if he wants to.
You know, the thing I'd like to delve into a little bit more, which I think is really fascinating, is like what Darren said about the conversation it has with Game of Thrones. And I did not watch House of Dragons. I passively watched Game of Thrones. I was fortunate in that I watched it with someone who had read the books, so we could pause it every once in a while and they could explain to me what was going on. I think by itself, Game of Thrones, the TV show, was not good because of all of the questions I had while watching it. And I'm pretty good at watching things.
On a first watch, it is really tough because a lot of the dudes just look the same and have very similar names.
Exactly.
And House of Dragon does not fix that because there's a lot of incest there. And so several characters will just have the same name and look the same in the same shot.
And have the same hair color and hairstyle and eye color. Like,
Yeah. And so, like, to me, I want to kind of go more into Darren's thought about its conversation because, you know, our hero Dunk By the way, our heroes dunk an egg, which is brilliant, is absolutely goddamn brilliant.
The Boston's favorite breakfast is a little donkey egg.
Hello, dunkin' eggs.
Like our Martin again sitting down at breakfast one day and being, this should be a story. And so your mother them into knights, little soldiers, and little knights.
Little
your knights,
what are the little soldiers? Yeah.
Soldiers, yeah.
But like he is like kind of the lawful good lowly knight. Like he's a knight in kind of concept only because he wears literal peasant rags and was just taught by a good man, and he's a good man. And you
don't even find out if he's an actual knight. Like this is not a spoiler. It's a deliberately intentional thing. Is you don't know if he's an actual knight.
But it's kind of like, does it matter? Because he's acting like a knight more than all the other knights. Like he has honor, and maybe that's the important thing.
Exactly. And like from the perspective of we get a lot of this from the perspective of the people, because it's from Dunk's perspective, who is a man of the people, and how much they fucking loathe the royalty. Everyone goes out of their way to say these people who are, playing games, they fucking suck.
Yeah. Okay. I feel the same way. I feel like we should go into the spoiler territory, just because a lot of the things I do want to talk about are spoilery, so we can finally do it. I guess if you don't want to be spoiled,
they're hovering over the spoiler button.
Yeah, he's been waiting to put it on there. Our quick review, if you don't want to be spoiled and you want to bounce, is I think we give it a thumbs up.
100%.
Even if you don't care about Game of Thrones, if you're burnt out on Game of Thrones, anything.
If you just want good old sword and board knight action, this is really fucking good.
Yeah.
And it's a quick, easy watch as well. It doesn't require a great deal of lore knowledge, and you can breeze through it in an afternoon or an evening.
Absolutely.
I love this, and Darren said it. It went from good to great in his mind. I think as the show went on, I loved it from the drop, honestly, and I think part of it is just the casting is so these characters are so immediately identifiable and people you want to hang out with, and it's not just Dunk and Egg, which I need to start separating them because I just say Dunk and Egg, almost like Benioff and Weiss, which sounds like one name. But
Benioff was the protagonist of Marty Supreme, right?
Benioff and Weiss. My lawyer, Benioff and Weiss. But every character they introduce, no matter how small a screen time they get, like half of the 6 dudes he finds, like the Apple Boy, who just is like the best. It's like a fast homie. It's just someone you meet and you're like, oh, we immediately became friends. You took me to this cool party. And then the next day you're like, yeah, sure, I'll risk my life in this bar fight for you. It's insane. And then it ends with him marrying the sex worker. And she's I'm pregnant now. It's like, well, no, you're not. You don't know that. But you guys will probably have a nice life together on the apple farm with the horse. Oh my God! What a nice little ending for him.
Dunk being the forever bro to not just his apple bro, who's like, hey, my apple bro's gonna get some, great for you. Yeah. And my fellow, by the way, just the most lovely allegory of the working woman and the working hedge knight of we both put our bodies on the line for for noblemen, and him being like, hey, girl, I got you. Yeah.
It is quite literally it is about the trading of a body. The central animating narrative tension of the show is, are they going to take his arm and his leg? It's he is fighting for his own body for body.
Yes. No, absolutely delightful. Something I will say is it's a simple show. And this is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing, but you, at least I, as someone who watches a ton of movies and a ton of TV, I caught the Egg twists almost immediately. Egg is not just a stable boy. Egg is someone important. Obviously.
What, you mean this incredibly educated, very proper British accent, bald kid who just shows up one night, has maybe a story behind him.
And then it's but they do. I want to say it takes maybe 2 or he doesn't he doesn't reveal himself until maybe the
end of episode 3. It's the very end of episode 3 when when Dunk
rushes
stops
in to
his brother.
Yeah.
And so that's a little bit we figured that one out already. But
I'm glad they didn't wait. I think in other hands they would have held that reveal to the end of the season, and I'm glad they didn't. I do
they
agree
do a good
with you
job
that
of like hinting, like particularly like making it clear, like so when that comes at the end of the third episode, it doesn't feel like a swerve. And I think if I remember correctly,
Right.
the third episode in particular is full of things like him recognizing all of the knights and being able to pick them out. And you're like, huh, that's a really interesting thing for a squire to know off the
Yeah.
top of his head.
Yeah, and even when Dunk is like, "Oh, well, I met this
Crab guy.
this crab guy who's like a self-made man," and he's like, "You dork, his dad like runs crabbing in the realm. Like he's absolutely a nepo baby. What are you talking about?" It's like, well, okay, this kid clearly knows a lot of things about random Kingsguard members.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was
Don't be so
beautiful.
crabby.
There's only one crab feeder in this house.
That was
what did you
beautiful.
guys think of? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jack. You had a couple.
Oh, I was going to say the thing that I think did a really the moment for me that I very much locked into the show. I agree with Marty. Like almost from the get go, there is a bit of a needle drop, a comedy needle drop.
Yeah.
In which the Game of Thrones music swells, and you think this is going to be an epic adventure, and it just cuts to Dunk having messy diarrhea that you see.
Yeah.
They do a Texas switch on the butt, which I'm quite impressed by, where it's like where his upper body is like leaning out one side of the tree and there's an ass out the other, and you're like, that is some good like prop stunt ass work there. I appreciate the logistics of how you filmed this.
Absolutely. And so that does a really good job of kind of setting up the tone of this. This is just a side story. This is not super serious, but we start getting into the meat of it, in which Dunk kind of needs to prove his knightly lineage. And he's going from, basically like knight to knight, high house to high house, and these aren't even high houses. These are mid houses or low houses. And just saying, does anyone remember this good man? And no one does. And that to me, really kind of sets up exactly what this show is about. Is just like, is it enough just to be a good man? It's like, hell yeah.
What did you guys think of its texture? Feels different than what we've seen in Thrones before. Not only the fact that it's all pretty much takes place in one location for the entire 6 episodes, which Thrones is known for zip zooping around the realm. But things like you mentioned, it doesn't have this elaborate Game of Thrones title sequence where you're going through the map and everything. It has a like well-timed title drop once per episode. You mentioned sort of how it uses the Game of Thrones theme as a joke. It uses, I don't want to say anachronistic music because this is music created in the modern day for the show, but it uses jazz on its soundtrack. It ends with 16 tons. It ends with a song, like a real song is in the credits of the last episode of the show.
Not one of those fake medieval songs.
Well, I want to say Game of Thrones did that where they would take modern day songs and like make them old timey.
That's right. There wasn't like an Ed Sheeran song, right?
Well, Ed Sheeran was in it, and he kind of maybe played one of his songs, didn't he? He was like he was a bard. He was a knight, or he was like a soldier, but he was strumming the guitar. I mean, the big one is obviously it's is it Ramin? I can't remember the name of the guy, but he's not the guy who did Battlestar Galactica then, because I think of like All Along the Watchtower is the one I think of.
Oh, like those, yeah,
that's sort of like covers.
Yeah. How did you guys feel about that? Like, did that take you out at all? Like those kind of elements, or did it just add to the flavor of the show?
I honestly didn't notice the jazz. I saw a comment that someone was like, the jazz really took me out of it. And I was like, what jazz? And then Marty, you said there was jazz. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It was the opening scene of the finale. It was when Lionel Baratheon and Dunk are kind of sitting below that tree, and his maester's working on him. And he's like, I think you're going to die. And he's like, oh, fuck off. You're a bad doctor.
I guess that's how little it bothered me is I didn't even notice it. I loved the ending of 16 Tons. Because again, that's like sets up that theme of like, this is one of my favorite things in all of fiction, which is blue collar fantasy. And that's all this is blue collar fantasy. And I fucking love that. And so putting that song on there just makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah.
And it also helps differentiate it from the other two shows. I mean, you mentioned the texture of it. Like Obviously, Game of Thrones shot around the world on multiple continents, incredible like television production, budget breaking, back breaking, staff will breaking kind of like filmmaking going on there. But like obviously, House of the Dragon shoots primarily in like the volume on sound stages in London. So this shooting primarily on location in the middle of nowhere gives it a different feel and different texture, as does, we mentioned already, the shorter episode runtime. And like there are moments early on where it feels like it's almost going to turn into Blackadder, where you have like a plumber who's played by like that wonderful Irish actor. But like it helps differentiate it, where it's like, I like the idea that we are going to get House of the Dragon later this year, and that will have a different feel to it. We are not just going to get, so there's 6 episodes of this, 8 episodes of that, or 9 episodes of that, whatever it is. We're not going to get 15 episodes of Game of Thrones content. We're going to get 6 episodes of this, which feel distinctly like this, and we're going to get 9 episodes of House of the Dragon, which will feel like House of the Dragon. And to my mind, that is what franchise spin-offs should do. Like, it shouldn't be trying to replicate the sensation of watching Game of Thrones 10 years ago, because you can't do that. Game of Thrones was 10 years ago. It was a product of its time, a product of its moment, and it was revolutionary for what it was. But instead, if you're going to give me something new related to it, give me something new related to it, where I'm watching this and I am thinking of Game of Thrones because it takes place in the world, but I'm also thinking of this as its own distinct object. Like, it's very similar to something like, say, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, for example, or The Next Generation. Like, the first 2 Star Trek spin-off shows, each of which is radically different from the one that came before it, while still being recognizably of a piece with it. And that, to me, is like what I want from a spin-off, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. This is it's exactly what we talked about when we talked about Wonder Man the other week, which is like, this was the promise. This was the promise that they gave us when IP took over the world of entertainment. It's like, okay, we have to, everything needs to be part of an established intellectual property, but we can play around in that intellectual property. And we all said, we didn't have a say in it. So we said, okay, like, fine, give us that. And it's very rare that we actually get it.
Yeah. I mean, we've lucked out, because in 4 of the biggest IP we have, we've gotten great shows in the last 2 years. We've gotten Andor, we've gotten The Penguin, we've gotten Wonder Man, and we've gotten this. Like, that's, I like you said, Jack. This is what we're seeing in this snapshot was the best case scenario of, we lost the fight against IP. So at the very least, maybe we can get talented people making fun, original kind of stories with an actual vision. I don't know.
When you say it like that, it sounds good, but then you got to put it in context of like, how many other shows are there? It's like, we got 4 great ones.
The 4 of those.
But I mean, maybe that is a sad indictment on the industry, but we like this. This does feel like a win. We got a simple morality play with some goofs, some blood, some prosthetic eyeball makeup. Like, this is fun.
And we get Fallout, like, which does the same thing. And like, I don't know. I can't. At this
and the
moment
pit is
in time,
kind of
I
like
can't
that
complain.
to Eeyore, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. I also liked how well this show oscillated between being genuinely funny and like genuinely heartbreaking. Even in the last episode, you had that scene of Lionel Baratheon, who's the guy who fights for him and is kind of
with
just
the antlers on his head.
Yeah, with the antlers on his head, who's like one of those like kind of MVPs of every scene he's in. Yeah. But his speech to him in the last episode, and then him being like, "Well, I'll see you after the roast," and immediately cuts to the funeral pyre of like this man who could have been a great king and may have changed the trajectory of this entire story of like,
just this man who could have been a great king. This good man who could have been a good king.
Who died because he was involved in this fight on behalf of our hero.
Yeah, he like a very much a kind of like Ned Stark-esque death where it's like, man, what could have been if you just wouldn't have died? The fact that you have a moment like that, and then even later on in the episode when Egg is Dunk says he's not going to take on Egg, he's done with princes, and Egg sneaks into his brother's room with a knife behind his back and is like going to kill his brother because he's like, you took this possible future from me because you're and like, that's such an amazing moment. His father just puts his hand on his shoulder and you hear the knife drop. Like, I thought that was just handled beautifully, genuinely beautifully. And it is this like amazing crossroads. And you have the same scene where or in the same episode, Dunk talks to the third brother, who's kind of like the drunk, like a soothsayer. He's like,
Yeah.
a lot of the
guy
Targaryens have
who
those
was supposed
visions,
to be
the
watching
dreamers.
Egg. Yeah, the guy who was supposed to be watching Egg. Yeah.
And him talking about like, oh, yeah, like we were all kind of innocent like Egg when we were young, but being raised in this family where he's going to be raised, he's going to turn into us. And so, like, that being the motivator for Dunk to be like, no, fuck it, I'm going to take this kid away if I get a chance and bring him. And then Egg just lies and is like, oh, yeah, my dad let me.
I love it.
It's fine.
Do we, for anyone who knows more lore than me, how closely related are these characters to the ones in the main show?
Egg, I guess, double spoilers for anyone. Egg is the great grandfather of Daenerys, so the mother of dragons from Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I believe
is Egg the Mad King?
No, Egg's grandson is the Mad King.
Mad King.
And the Mad King is Daenerys' father.
Okay, cool. Great.
Yeah.
And there's there's a winnowing of the royal line that happens towards the end of Egg's time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and there's a fourth brother. So you have the three brothers in the show, and the fourth brother is Master Aemon from the show.
Oh, is he Master Aemon? Is he the fourth of those three?
Yeah, I think it's Master Aemon from Game of Thrones, the old blind guy.
He aged very well. I know the guy at the Night Watch. The guy.
Yeah. Are you talking about supposedly someone's going to be played by Henry Cavill?
Yes, isn't that the thing? Wasn't that the thing?
I'm sure he wants to be played by Henry Cavill if he wants. He keeps getting hurt.
I mean, if he wants, I like that. If he can close his eyes and will it into being, he can make it happen.
Yeah, until he gets recasted because something goes wrong.
No, but that's okay. The Rock will bring him back, and then he'll get fired again. Yeah.
Remember when he showed up in Black Adam?
Yeah, and how the end of Black Adam teased the fight that everybody had been waiting for: Black Adam versus Superman. We've been waiting for that fight from the first. Like, comic book fans have been sitting there, rocking in their seats.
No comic book fan has been asking for that.
Just waiting for Black Adam with pure wrestling logic, where it's like, if I'm going to be the big guy of the DCU, who have I got to fight? It's like Zachary Levi. It's like, try again. Like, go fish.
Okay, but I guess the other thing about it is maybe the positive note, maybe the negative note, is like I was actually thinking like, oh, these are names that I have heard. Baratheon. Okay, that's a name I've heard before. Yeah. I do genuinely wonder how they are related, how far away from the main series this is. It's significantly far away, and so that was neat. My very bad thought that I did my best to squish down was it only took The Mandalorian 2 seasons to ruin an entire franchise for me. How long before this ruins? How long before this ruins it?
I feel like if you're on board at the moment, it's pretty okay. Like, I feel like we've gone as far as we can to the various extremes. It would be quite wild if they still have.
I would have thought that in The Mandalorian as well. I don't know.
Like what?
I feel safer.
Are they going to have a time traveler? Like, is the ghost of Hodor going to show up in season 2 to save the day?
Ned Stark's disembodied head thrown through time. They carry Sean Bean around in a bag, so he's off camera for most of the season.
They can ruin this.
Oh, why did you have to bring that up? Because now I'm like, oh, are they going to ruin? Like, it seems like they have the plan, and it's just give us 6 episodes every 18 months.
Yeah,
and
I mean, like, I feel like but I feel like House of the Dragon is the bigger question mark, where it's like, I really love the first season of that show. Again, just because it felt different from Game of Thrones. Like, it had a different structure, where Game of Thrones was, a drama where everything is happening right now, but it's scattered across multiple locations. The appeal for the first season of like House of the Dragon is it's all in the same place, but it's spread across time, where you're following 20 years in a season. And I was like, that's actually a really interesting way to do this story. Like, I, Claudius, or the Crown. And then you get into the second season, it's just Game of Thrones light, and it's like, I don't really, that's not what I wanted from this. And it's Game of Thrones light, but without like location shooting, and it's like, that's also not, if I were to do something from Game of Thrones, it would not be Game of Thrones, but all inside
on a green screen.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I don't know, I'm just happy that this makes me So I'm with you, Darren. I don't dislike House of the Dragon. I'll say I think House of the Dragon is way better than Game of Thrones was at its worst, which is not saying a lot, but like, I think it is way better than like the last season of Game of Thrones. But this being as good as it is, and me enjoying this as much as I do, makes me hopeful for, HBO wants the floodgates to open on this. And in the grand scheme of things, they've been relatively conservative with thrown things. I think they've tried a lot of things, but the ones that have actually made it out, it's not like Marvel where we were getting 3 shows a year, or Star Wars.
Well, we're getting 2 shows a year this year.
Yeah, which is I don't know if that's rare timing or if that's just that is I don't know. So maybe
Sorry.
We shouldn't be speaking so soon.
I hate that myself and Jack are just like, Marty's like, I got a good Game of Thrones thing, and myself and Jack are just like, wait a minute, let us ruin it for you.
And before we get into this conversation, I'm just like, fuck it, we shouldn't even care about this.
Right? But that's the problem, not just with this show, because like HBO is like more now, like, oh, this is good, now more now, like fucking every episode starts and ends with an advertisement for the show podcast as produced by HBO, and if you like that, there's a companion app that you can watch along with it, and if you like that, you can do like they're already like sinking their claws in deeper for this silly, fun little morality play.
Well, I mean, again, this is the HBO way, where like 20 years ago, like HBO was the home of original television, where it was like The Sopranos and Deadwood and The Wire and all that sort of stuff. Nowadays, like, it has become an IP factory like everything else in Hollywood, because that's what we value that. So it's, I'm really excited for Down to Fuck St. Louis, which is coming next week. I'm really looking forward to that. But the bulk of like HBO's output is, as you say, the Dune spin-off show, the Batman spin-off show, the multi-season readaptation of Harry Potter, the Game of Thrones spin-off, the other Game of Thrones spin-off, the Peacemaker TV show, like Watchmen, the adaptation. Like, there is, even within the world of prestige television, like a push towards this kind of IP factory stuff. And as you say, like, if that stuff is good, I don't mind. Like, I am looking forward to Lanterns. I really did enjoy The Penguin. I really did enjoy this, I can't complain too much. But part of me is also like, does that make the next Succession less likely to happen? Does that make the next Sopranos less likely to happen?
Well, especially when they inevitably get
the next Game of Thrones,
up.
ironically, less likely to happen.
I guess. Yeah, but I mean, they're going to be. By the time 3 years from now, who knows who their owner is going to be? Whether it's
honestly, because I'm sure that either company will be like, let's open the floodgates on The Wire. Like, that's what we need to get back to. It's like, we want to do a Batman show. No. This is Netflix is all about artistic integrity.
Yes.
Yeah. Yikes. Yeah. Anything else to say about the show?
Just that I am shocked how much I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. As probably the like Game of Thrones has had almost zero impact on my life. I think I liked the season that because there was 8 seasons, and everyone says the 8th season is bad, and the 7 is when it started to go bad. And for me, the 7th season was when it got silly, so I enjoyed it.
Well, and even when it got bad, there were still really great episodes. Ironically, like, one of my favorite episodes, probably of the show, is called The Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and it's the
the night before the Battle of Winterfell.
Yeah, it's when they knight Brienne, or Jamie knights Brienne.
It's the like one episode of that final stretch that is not an event, which is really interesting.
It's just all the characters we've grown to love hanging out before the big battle, and it turns out that's way more interesting than the big battle, which was dark and sucked.
Not to open the floodgates of a general discussion of Game of Thrones, but like, my position on it is that like, that was always impossible to end. Like, that show was always going to be, it is impossible, and we know it's impossible to end because, like, George R.R. Martin has had an infinite budget, like, no constraints in terms of actors, and he can't do it. So it's like expecting people to do it on the fly, improvisationally, even knowing the broad strokes of where it's going. And like, my secret conspiracy theory is that, like, people are going to be very angry when I say this, allowing for all the stuff that they've taken out of like the adaptation, all the Aegons that they left on the floor. You can't make a Game of Thrones without breaking a few Aegons. Despite that, my sneaking suspicion is that like the general shape of that final season is close to what Martin expected the final shape of his arc to be, and I suspect at least some of the reaction or some of the delay of Martin being like, I'll get round to those 2 books when I do, is him seeing like the fire breathing reaction to oh, that's what the ending is, and being like, you know what, you guys don't need the ending right now. I'm just
my counter to that is, one, I think George is a better writer.
Yes, okay, I'll give you that. I will give you that.
And I think we could have a very similar ending, but with George's flair on it. 2, there is absolutely a way to end that show. There are several ways to end that show where at very least 75% of the watchers are satisfied.
A giant portal opens and Ned Stark's head rolls out and he's like, all right, we've only got 2 episodes to sort this mess out.
Like
you are obsessed with this severed head going through
I am all for one.
You
love
have to bring back Sean Bean. Like that's what you got to accomplish here.
I'm just picturing it like, Jack, you played the God of War 2018?
Yeah.
Like how he's got Mimir's head the whole time. Imagining someone just going around with a magical version of Sean Bean's head on his belt. And
that would have made... That would have made for a tremendous final season, and you know it. No, like, listen, if they would have just gone the absolute tritest, everybody's happy ending, like all the bad guys get punished and all the good guys win ending. Obviously, I don't think that's a good idea, but let's just say they pull the trite lever and all the good guys win and Jon Snow becomes king because he's the good guy or whatever, right?
He marries his cousin. They have lots of sweet babies who are totally healthy.
No, he finds a new girl in the final. Like, people would have been like, well, a little tonal shift at the end, but they would have been satisfied.
But like, my
to be clear, it wasn't his cousin; it was his aunt.
It was his aunt.
Okay.
Yeah,
it was his aunt.
Sorry. I failed the Targaryen family tree test because that thing is
it's so simple. And they all have different names.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just like separate lines. There aren't multiple lines connecting various people to each other.
I think like the general collective
or a family hedge. Sorry.
The general collective response to who has a better story than Bronn the Broken was literally fucking anyone. So no, I disagree. I think there was a way to end the series that would have been fine. That would have been not a dumpster fire.
Here's a hot take.
Yeah.
I don't think this is Benioff and Weiss's fault, which I still need to put a space between their names because it sounded like one dude. I think
you mean Marty's lawyer and Marty Supreme, right?
I think every person. Oh no, the head's coming back through. I think every person involved in Game of Thrones, cast, crew, everyone was so fucking done with that show. Yeah. That it was like, we need to end this now.
Yeah.
And it's like a plane trying to land, instead of on like a mile-long runway, it's on like 30 feet of gravel. And they're like, well, let's try to limit the amount of casualties. So
and also, like, it had never been done before. Like that is the thing. You had never made a television show in the way that this show was made before, across multiple continents with a cast that large. Like, I am not excusing that. Part of me is like, it should have been put in the hands of people more experienced than Benioff and Weiss, would have been my like gut reaction to it. But part of me is also like, I have the X-Files thing of the story that like Frank Spotnitz tells about like why the X-Files ended up the way that it did. And it's like, it ended up the way that it did because none of us knew how to write television. And if we knew how to write television, we would not have done half of the crazy stuff that we did. And that crazy stuff ended up like breaking the rules and rewriting what television could be. Where it's like, Benioff and Weiss absolutely not qualified to be doing the job that they were doing, and it's very telling that nothing they have done since has materialized in any real sense. And I don't think like conspiracy theorists are like, oh, that's just because everybody hated Game of Thrones. No, even if people hated Game of Thrones, that show was successful enough that they can keep Rousseauing their way to success. They can't get anything off the ground because they can't get anything off the ground. They don't.
Hey, we have the 3-body problem.
There's a second season of that coming?
Probably not.
No,
being honest, probably not.
I mean, it's right up there with the Gray Man sequel and spin-off TV show, right? They're just behind the Ted Sarandos, have them right locked up in this.
There was, listen, that one scene, the 3-body problem, where that like entire ship gets cut in half. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, where they like make a giant like razor wire trap.
Yeah, it just cuts a bunch of people in it. It's like that scene. What's the one? Ghost Ship. Was that the movie? Ghost Ship?
Yeah, with the Juliana Margulies and Pierce Brosnan, right? Yeah, the classic.
Is Pierce Brosnan in that movie?
No, it's Gabriel Byrne. Sorry, I've got Irish face blindness.
Is that racist of you?
Yeah, I think I'm allowed to do it. I think I'm
Yeah,
allowed.
okay.
To.
Sorry.
I think like the way we will end this discussion for me is like by me saying a very controversial thing, which is if they do another night of the 9 kingdoms or 7 kingdoms or whatever,
That was sequel escalation. I like that.
Dunk and Egg should not be in it.
Oh, you like season 2?
Yeah, it should be just another story.
That could be fun.
A
little short story about a random
out of the premises of HBO management. He's been told that he can pick up his junk on the curb.
Yeah,
I think just give us another little tale within the 7 or 9 kingdoms or whatever, and have that be that. That's fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to shout out, by the way, Sir John Arbuckle in the comments saying this podcast will have a 3-hour problem at this rate?
That was really good.
Yeah.
Really good comment. That's our secret cap. All of our podcasts have a 3-hour problem.
Yeah. Hold on. And for that suggestion, I have been told I need to wear this. So there we go.
Yeah, Nick will not be streaming this afternoon. He's feeling under the weather. So, but that doesn't mean we're going for 3 hours. I'm just saying.
Last time we wrapped, Marty was like, "Oh, by the way, I knew that next stream wasn't happening, but I didn't tell you to because I knew."
Well, Jack knows though. Jack knows. Jack was in the same thread as me, so Jack does though. Any final thoughts on Night of the Seven Kingdoms before we jump into just the largest amount of super chats that have ever been chatted?
Just thumbs up. I do want a general. I want us to get angrier about streaming services and how bad user experiences they are. The user interface experiences for all streaming services are getting worse and worse. They are auto-playing trailers. The amount of buttons that you need to click just to watch something, the amount of like skip this ad for the in-universe podcast, skip this ad for the trailers for the other things on the streaming service, and now skip the intro because you just binged the last episodes. So I don't fucking need the intro, and you should know I don't fucking need the intro.
The worst is HBO is not as bad with this, but I'm rewatching New Girl on Hulu. I'm just always rewatching an old sitcom I like, old dish, and it will not allow me to just restart episodes. And since I watched it on Hulu,
is it?
What was that?
You jump in where you were, so like you jump in at the closing credits, is it?
Yes. And so every episode, I'm like, all right, I'm going to start watching, and then it's the credits of the episode. And I'm like, how do you not understand what I am trying to do here? I've been watching like 2 episodes every night for several months. How are you not aware of this, and how is the app not able to adapt to this?
They're getting worse and worse and worse, and
they're getting more expensive.
Yes.
I
hate, and now they have ads, even though you pay for them. They have ads. Doesn't matter.
Well, no, that's a way of like sneakily hiking up the price. Where the tier you're on has ads, but if you want to pay us like €5 extra, or $5 extra,
Tyrion's not on the show. Tyrion was on Game of Thrones.
I like that. Well played.
Gotcha. Fucking done them.
I'm impressed. I think we have a tie winner here.
Incredible. Tywin Lannister famously becomes Dunk's cupbearer when he gets older. So Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones, his like first job is Dunk's cupbearer, which Arya was Tywin's.
The chronology of this stuff is like really hard because you're like, there's this great grandfather. I suppose I forget that Daenerys is meant to be like 12. That I do.
She's meant to be 12, and I think Dunk's dad, Maker, is supposed to be like 33.
Egg's dad.
What?
Egg's dad, Maker, like the guy with all white hair and the beard. Like, he's supposed to be 33 years old.
I mean, it's a rough time back then. They don't make it like they used to.
Kind of makes me feel better. Kind of makes me be like, well, I'm pushing 40 and I look a little bit better than this guy.
There you go.
Okay, we're going to super chats. I also
cleaved my brother's skull open, so there's that going for it too.
It was an accident. No one's going to think it was an accident. No one's going to think that was an accident. Okay, we're super chatting.
We're super chatting.
I need that King's Speech ceremonial glass of water. That if you went to the theater to see King's Speech, they should have had the commemorative cup just be the glass of water that King's Speech needs to drink before.
That's it. Instead of a popcorn bucket, you have like a special like Coke thing. You can't fill it up because it's on a gold platter. So you can't like physically get it into the filler.
The theater, you're just hearing clanks of people dropping things the entire time. Quintuple, thank you so much for a $5 dono. Darren, the 60 seconds you spent talking about the Super Bowl counts as coverage. Hashtag Mooney and Quinn talk the big game.
Yes, which we legally could not call it the Super Bowl. Yes,
no, the big game. Yeah,
the big game.
I assume this is in reference to your podcast, the 250 that you guys do.
It is. It's back. It is back. Andrew is back on he's back from paternity leave. Delightful news. We are doing 3 episodes every Sunday, as long as that lasts. So we release
3 episodes every Sunday
on a day. Yes. His wife is incredibly patient, unfathomably patient and supportive of this very silly thing that we do. So we don't, not every Sunday, every third Sunday we do 3 episodes. So we
gotcha.
Which does cause a problem for Andrew's kind of like Sporto updates, which is his attempt to stay contemporaneous with like sports updates. Not only because it's like 3 weeks in the can, but also because it's like 3 of them in the same day. So we're trying to figure out how to make that work. But yeah.
Did you see Letterboxd is turning its top 250 into a top 500? And are you thinking about evolving your podcast into the 500?
Oh, I mean, you say that as if like the podcast has any relation to the IMDb 250 at this point. Last week we covered the Smashing Machine, just because Andrew's like, I'd like to watch the Smashing Machine. So and like this is my dad free time. This is my free time off parenting. So let's talk about the Smashing Machine. So we have a very loose relationship with the concept of a 250. Yeah,
appreciate that. Japio, thank you so much for the $5 dono. Would love to hear Marty's thoughts on Yoko Taro making an Evangelion thing. Evangelion held a big 30th anniversary celebration, and one of the announcements was that Yoko Taro, the creative director of the Drakengard and Nier series, Nier Automata, which is very, Drakengard especially, and Nier Replicant, very heavily inspired by Evangelion, is writing a new Evangelion animated series. Don't know what it is. The little kind of teaser they showed for it was some of the iconography from especially the rebuild movies, like the Shinji's cello and everything, kind of with an overgrown world around it, which is something Yoko Taro does a lot. This is exciting. I don't think it should be about any of the characters. I think Shinji's, all of them are like any of the characters we know. It feels like, especially after the rebuilds, like their ending is kind of done. But I do think it's an interesting world that I would love to see him dabble in. So
part of me is like, it should like every generation should get their Evangelion. It should just be the same story told over and over and over again.
How are people just going through it every 20 years? Yeah.
Like I was kind of curious about that, as like because obviously I'm not a huge anime guy. I will say Evangelion is the only anime I have finished. I'm working my way through Chainsaw Man at the moment. We'll see how that goes. Nice. But like Evangelion
That's
is
quite
like,
a jump, by the way. Evangelion to Chainsaw Man.
I tried Demon Slayer. I've done the first season of Demon Slayer, and I'm like, I need to step back and take a breather before I jump back into that. But like I will say, like Evangelion feels like a kind of a special thing. It feels like a kind of it's not a regular anime. At least even I, who have no familiarity with anime, understand it is a special thing. How does it feel to be revisited? Well, first of all, so many times where it got done once, then it got done as a series of movies. I believe the movies were originally meant to be just an adaptation of the show, but then became this kind of reimagining of the show in conversation.
Yeah, because the first one is like a very clear adaptation of the show, and then it's like, oh no, things have gotten very different.
Yeah, and like to come back to it again, I guess this is I'm asking you the version of the X-Files question. How does it feel to know that like this isn't going to be Anno's version of this?
It's interesting because I can't have the feeling that you have with Coogler of being like, I wish this just was Ryan Coogler's working through his midlife crisis thing, because that's what Nier is. Nier is Yoko Taro's I'm working through my midlife. Like Nier already is, and Nier is for people who don't play games and listen to this. Nier is a series of Japanese kind of action adventure role playing games that deal with a lot of similar themes of like identity and self and actualization that Evangelion deals with. So it feels like we already did kind of get his version of this, and so it is interesting that he's jumping into this. But just as a fan of his, I am very curious to see what he does here. Eric says the Evangelion rebuild was the equivalent of the Final Fantasy VII remake, which, yes, in video game terms for people, it's more of less a remake and more of a reconstruction, I guess, or with actual things to say about it. But and
like a great ending where I'm really glad Anno is where he is now. Like it's really interesting to watch the whole thing and be like, I don't know how I feel about the object itself, but the person who made it seems to be in a happier place now, so I'm really happy for him.
It's as like the ending is like as kind of autobiographical, like, oh, okay, you went to therapy, you're in love, you seems like things are fine with you now. That's
you don't
nice.
seem to hate yourself anymore.
No, because after the end of the last two things, it definitely felt like you hated yourself. But looking forward to that. Snake in the Garden, thanks for re-upping in the Green Gang, and then followed up with a €2 dono. Mustache Wars, who wears it best? Coogler versus Jack. Who has a better mustache, Ryan Coogler or Jack?
We have different styles, and we just need to appreciate our different styles. Look, I mean, if we're saying which is classier, it's definitely Coogler's. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
That is a classy ass mustache. It looks fantastic. Mine is a little wilder, a little more cowboy-esque, and I'm okay with that. So just two different styles. Oh, thank you, Eric.
I don't think Coogler could pull off a 10-gallon hat. That's the thing. And if you're wearing a mustache, you can't pull off a 10-gallon hat. What's the point?
Someone call Matt Reeves. I think we found our Two-Face for the next Batman movie. Half Coogler, half Packard.
Neither of them are like mainstream movie stars, but we thought it was just such an interesting combination. We couldn't.
Honestly, it all stemmed from just one super chat that came in. Really weird.
Yeah. Sebastian Sad graciously stepped aside.
Thanks, Sebastian.
He saw it. He saw that image and was like, I
can't compete with that. Yeah, I can play Trump. I can't play that. Henry, thank you so much for the $2 dono. Should I watch Wuthering Heights in theaters? Darren, you saw Wuthering Heights. You talked about it. I also saw Wuthering Heights. I do not have the history with Wuthering Heights that you do, which you proved in the last episode when you talked about watching about 115 different versions of it. What did you think of this latest adaptation of Wuthering Heights, Darren?
I thought it was fine. And that is the most boring take you can have in this weird cultural moment where this thing has become an object where you either have to love it or hate it. I think it is perfectly adequate. I am actually quite fond of Fennel as a filmmaker. I think she's a very strong visual stylist. I think that cinema is a visual art form. Therefore, I think that being a visual stylist is enough to make you interesting in your field. I think I'm very fond of Promising Young Woman. One of my favorite videos that I did with Omar was talking about Promising Young Woman and looking at Fennel playing and deconstructing the idea of the rape revenge fantasy. Saltburn, I think, was memorably described as the talented Mr. Ripley with a severe head injury, and I think if you look at it that way, it's like dumb the untalented Mr. Ripley, I think, is how Broe Deschanel described it. But it is if you go into it and meet it on that level, I think it is an enjoyable movie. It is nowhere near as good as the talented Mr. Ripley, but it is enjoyable. This is interesting. If we're going straight to the review of it, it is a little too long. It is a little too inert. It doesn't really have any propulsive force driving it forward. It does, however, look and sound absolutely gorgeous. And it is clearly the work of somebody who, has maybe studied English at a postgraduate level. It is a work that is in conversation not only with Wuthering Heights itself, the text and the source material. There's a really fun, nerdy inside joke that happens where the character of Isabella is introduced discussing critical theory of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, which, for those who know, is an allusion to a 1958 academic article written about Bronte's Wuthering Heights. And I'm I am so the target audience for this movie. It is almost obscene.
The movie's a little bit horny and a little bit academic. That's great.
It is, but this is the thing about it. It is not an adaptation of Wuthering Heights. But the thing about Wuthering Heights is Wuthering Heights, we talked about it last week, we don't necessarily need to go into it again, is basically unadaptable, particularly in a film format. It's like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. The structure of the book is designed in such a way that it works as a book, but it does not lend itself to film, a medium that did not exist when the book was written, and therefore Emily Bronte was not thinking about, which was her problem. She should have been thinking about the movie rights when she was writing it, but it doesn't lend itself to that style of adaptation. In fact, if you want to get a sense of what a Wuthering Heights adaptation would look like, I think the best version of that is something like A Place Beyond the Pines. Marty, have you seen A Place Beyond the Pines?
Yeah, with Ryan. Ooh, I almost said Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Gosling and Bradley Cooper. But like the structure of that movie, which is kind of unique, is like that movie switches protagonists halfway through, and it is like a big, bold, creative swing. I don't think it works, but it is like an interesting thing to do. And the novel has a very similar structure where almost without fail, almost every adaptation of the novel since William Wyler's 1939 Tolkien original, there was a silent film that I believe doesn't exist anymore before that, has basically restricted itself to adapting the first half of the book. And so the version of Wuthering Heights that exists in the consciousness is not the version that is the book. And I think what's really interesting about the film, what I think is like really interesting about the film, what I like about the film, is that it is a film that is not adapting Wuthering Heights. It has those very smart quotation marks around the title where it's like, oh, it's Wuthering Heights, if you know what I mean, but it's instead playing with this idea of like what the cultural memory of Wuthering Heights is. And like what I kind of liked about it academically is that it is, for me, maybe the only version of Wuthering Heights I can think of that does not care about Heathcliff at all as a character, where every version of Wuthering Heights is obsessed with Heathcliff, this weird, hairy, angry, abusive man who is this kind of gothic monster like Dracula or like Frankenstein, and trying to turn him into this kind of romantic figure, whether played by Timothy Dalton, Ralph Fiennes, Laurence Olivier, etc. And I think that like what this version does is it looks at like Catherine, and it says actually the lens to look at Wuthering Heights is through this idea of like repressed feminine desire and sexuality. And what you end up with is this weird sublimated movie about like Catherine's repressed like id manifesting itself in this tall, dark, handsome, brutish but consent forward, young, stable hand type figure who is a complete mystery and blank slate, but who will do whatever you ask to and be a little naughty if you want him to too, but he won't cross any lines that you aren't comfortable with. And it is this really interesting kind of dark romance take on the concept. It is not really an adaptation of the book, but I think it's fascinating. Sorry, that's a cop-out of an answer to should I go see Wuthering Heights. If you like production design, if you like sound design, if you like movies that look like they feel very soft, yes, you should go see Wuthering Heights. If you want something that will like rivet you to your seat and has like a really engaging plot with multifaceted, complex characters, maybe not. Maybe pump the brakes on it just a little bit. So yeah, a very, very qualified recommendation.
Yeah, I with way less of the history with the source material, as in no history with the source material. I feel largely similar, and I felt the same way about Saltburn too, where I think there are images from both these movies that are going to stick with me for a long time, but the story, the characters, that kind of thing, that like, does nothing for me. Whereas Promising One Young Woman did. I think like that story and those characters did stick with me in a way that I don't think anything from these two will.
Yeah, the image of like the egg being crushed between the fingers, or like Margot Robbie throwing her body against wallpaper that is designed to look like her body, or the rooms that are like white and red to symbolize the paradox of virginity and desire simultaneously. Like all that stuff is very sumptuous and very rich and very vivid. It does look like it's shot inside, I don't know if this reference will translate, a Marks and Spencer's commercial. Like it does look like it's the most lavish 2-hour like commercial for like a luxury Christmas brand you have ever seen. And the movie is aware of that. Like there is a scene in the movie where the characters just stare at a dollhouse, and in that dollhouse there are two dolls staring at a dollhouse, and you imagine that inside that dollhouse there must be two more, and it is kind of what the movie, this is Emerald Fennell playing with dolls. And I think the point I made after I saw it was that like, you know, that is to a certain extent what a lot of like boy-centric superhero cinema is. It's people playing with dolls, and we tend to treat that a lot more respectfully than we treat like Emerald Fennell playing with her dolls. And I think, you know, they're both fine and they're both interesting, and they both say interesting things about the psychology of the people playing with them, but they're very similar, which I find really interesting.
I'm glad Barg Vargas in the chat is talking about Heathcliff the cat
Cartoon.
I believe.
Oh, okay. Because I just saw Heathcliff had another cartoon in the 80s, and I was like,
yeah,
the new
Heathcliff and Marmaduke, because that's the only Heathcliff I know.
I will say, you can tell how few people have read Wuthering Heights, because when I was in the PAX cinema on opening night, there's a moment where Heathcliff comes home and he's handsome and he's like tidy and he's made money, and he's like, "Where will you be staying, Heathcliff?" And it's like, "I'll be staying in Wuthering Heights, which I just bought." And the gasp of the audience. And it's like, no, That's something that happens like, a quarter of the way into Wuthering Heights, the book. You can't be surprised that
people just fainting in the aisles.
Dear goodness. You're telling me that he traveled out to the middle of the moors where there are literally only 2 houses. He is visiting one house and saying he is staying in the other.
Yeah. Incredible. Number Fennell's done it again. Sasigaru with a €5. Don't know. They should rename the show the Eckstein Files and theme it around that.
Well, that is the thing with the X-Files. Doing the X-Files in like the post-2016 world is like doing the conspiracy theory of like, wow, what are all the elites and creepy dudes up to? I bet they're conspiring with aliens to like conquer the world. It's like, no, they seem to be on jets a lot, flying to this weird island.
Yeah, keep going to this island. Yeah. Conspiracies aren't as fun. In the 90s, conspiracies peak fun.
Yeah.
2026 conspiracies, just the downfall of civilization.
Right.
And I mean, there is like is it the Lost Art of Forehead Sweat, which is like the Darren Morgan episode from the final season, is very good on that. By the way, Eric literally pulled up the screenshot from the Lost Art of Forehead Sweat as I said it. So good job, Eric.
Oh my God.
It's magical. He's a magical boy.
It's like incredible, but like there is this sense of like, what does it mean to create a show where the paranoid conspiracy theorist is correct 95% of the time in the Trump world? What does that mean? And the show, it's something that Coogler is going to have to answer, I think, and it'll be interesting to see him try.
Okay. A couple more super chats, and then we'll jump to other stuff we've been watching. Pure Pyro with a €2 dono. What did y'all think of A Knight's Tale from 2001? There were some similarities between. I noticed people making comps. Knight's Tale to Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Just being centered on an attorney, having a lot of fun homies. The use of
contemporary music.
The actor who played Robert Baratheon was in A Knight's Tale. So there you go. Did you guys see that one, Jack? Did you see?
Oh yeah, listen, I'm always for a movie starring a himbo. Like I want a himbo to be someone lovable and handsome, and it's great. It's great, yeah. Like A Knight's Tale, I think had I'm going to forget this actor. Yeah, Heath Ledger had Heathcliff Ledger. If Heath Ledger were still alive today, I don't think this movie would be talked about as often as it is. It's a fine movie. I don't necessarily think it's like this lost gem. It's fine.
Counterpoint though is that like if Heath Ledger's career was going the direction that it seemed to be going with like the Oscar win for The Dark Knight, or at least the Oscar nomination while he was still alive, and obviously doing Brokeback Mountain and stuff, would that have retained some sort of cachet as like the kind of the goofy young adventurous, like with the 10 Things I Hate About You, the kind of the teen heartthrob stage of it, like Leo in Titanic, I guess, or Leo in like Romeo and Juliet.
I think it would have, but I think like A Knight's Tale. This might be the most pretentious thing I've ever said, which is A Knight's Tale has an undeserved cult following.
Whoa, sure. That is. Don't worry, you can take that with a grain of salt coming from Jack.
It's fine. I'm saying is like it's fine. It's a fun movie. It's a perfectly fine movie, but it was also a major studio release. It was also like well received in its time. And
no, I have. Listen, I have.
So is your argument that it's too big to be a cult movie? It's like get out of here. Like it's.
Kind of,
yeah. So are you not? Are you arguing?
You guys ruining our buzz. It's like
you're less arguing the quality of the movie and more that like this is like it's like giving best indie game to like Claire Obscure, where you're like, what's going on here? You guys.
What I'm saying is the movie is good. It is a good movie, but it was also a good movie that had a budget and was well liked when it came out. So it's not like it's like I've dug through the garbage and I found this movie that no one remembers. It's like.
I don't think you're on the stolen valor of cult fandom.
Honestly, if anyone can say Jack is the person that can say that.
That's where I'm going.
Jack has served his time in the fucking garbage.
You guys don't get to call yourselves a cult fandom. You're just fans.
Basically, that's all I'm saying is like I feel like people do try to like push this over to the like you're not going to believe this movie I found. It's like, of course we believe it.
Jack walks up and strips the badge off. It's like, you don't deserve this.
Yeah,
that I know that is very incredibly petty of me, but that's my Knight's Tale take.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, we'll do three more, and then we'll jump into what we've been watching. Andrew Frangies, thank you so much. A $5 dono. Anyone seen Scarlet, a Japanese animated movie? I loved it, but saw the critic reviews were meh. Definitely a movie you should watch knowing nothing. So this movie played. This is the latest. This is the latest movie from Mamoru Hosoda, who is known for a shit ton of great animated movies, including the Digimon movie, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, Summer Wars, Wolf Children, Mirai, and Belle. This played in Japan. This opened in Japan like 3 days after I left last fall, so I wasn't able to see it, and has not opened around me yet. I don't know if it just got a limited release or what. Maybe it's playing in that one theater that Jack had to drive an hour and a half to.
I mean, yeah, you should definitely check the website and hop in your car.
Yeah. I was about to say, do not trust the website. I am looking forward to this because I've liked the other ones, although I do know this got kind of torn apart in reviews, but I don't know. Maybe I should have saw it in Japanese because it would have just been pretty. What was it?
74% Rotten Tomatoes, which seems reasonably okay.
No, anything below a 90 is garbage to me. I only watched 90 and above.
90 and above or 10 and below. That's the only place we go.
The only safe zone.
You're really looking forward to is it Andrew Kevin Walker's Psycho Killer then? Because I think that got bumped up from 0 to 10%, yeah?
Ooh, no, now now too many people like it. If it's going to start creeping towards 20%, I'm out again.
Called following.
Then you're in Morbius territory.
Yeah. Re-release it. Yeah,
third time
planning to see it when it becomes available. Sussy Guru with a €10 dono. Oh no. Nearing the end of my season 2 of Star Trek TNG rewatch, and I'll say I have no problem with Wesley, and I also think they should have kept Dr. Pulaski. They got poles in space. That's exciting. Also, you should make Darren play the new Voyager game.
No, I'm very curious about the Voyager game. So there's a Voyager. This is the thing we should do, like when Marty's out, or when like when people are actually doing work. Myself and Jack will do. But it's a story-based choice game where you go through the Voyager like arc of the 7 seasons, and you make decisions, and they change the outcome of episodes. The big one that they point to is kind of, but like kind of. So there's the video of it, but it's like there's an episode called Tuvix where like 2 cast members get merged together, and the big example they had in advertising was you can choose to just keep Tuvix. Like that's the kind of choice that Jack's eyes.
I would play it just to do that.
Yeah, like Jack's eyes are just like wide. I hear you can also do things like choose to use the like caretaker array to send yourself home at the end of the first episode, which feels kind of like cheating if we're being entirely honest. But it looks fun. It is kind of on my list of things I might play if I ever have like a quiet week. But yeah, looking forward to. In terms of the stuff that was mentioned there by Sussy Guru, the like Wesley, I feel bad for Will Wheaton, where it's like, I think in the first and second season, I think he is quite rough. I think for the third season onwards, he gets better. I think the stuff that they kind of do with him when he leaves the show is also very good. I think like the first Judy is a phenomenal episode in the 5th season dealing with Wesley. And like, I think one of the interesting things they do with Wesley is they give him the arc of like a gifted child, where he is like told from the start that he is so special and so perfect. And like one of the interesting arcs that he has is learning that the world is more complicated and more difficult than he was told that it would be. So I actually do have a soft spot for Wesley as a character. And Pulaski I always had a soft spot for. I mean, the thing with Pulaski is that's a behind the scenes problem, where Gates McFadden was sexually harassed by, I believe it was Morris Hurley. Darren says he's dead, so he can't sue, but I would double check that to be sure.
Can't slander the dead. It's fine.
I can't slander. No, I actually legally can't slander the dead. But like, you Google it and find it. But basically, Gates McFadden was sexually harassed by a member of the production team, and so basically was forced off the show. He left. She came back at the start of the 3rd season. So I don't begrudge the fact that they brought Crusher back at the start of season 3. I do like Pulaski, and like Diane Muldaur, who is really great as Pulaski, and she has a really good dynamic with Data. Like, I love that she's like, she is mean to that adorable little child, because Data is basically a toddler in an adult's body. Pulaski just like keeps trying to kick him down the stairs, basically. But it is so much fun. It's an interesting dynamic. Muldaur was there as a favor to Roddenberry because obviously she had done work on the original Star Trek as well. She'd done a couple of episodes. She'd done like Is There in Truth No Beauty, and she did can't remember the other episodes she did, but she did a couple episodes of the original series. I really wish that Pulaski had come back in some way, shape, or form. Very famously, Muldaur was also killed off, I believe, in LA Law when she stepped into an empty elevator shaft.
Big fear of mine. Elevator shafts and like sewer drains.
She was the death that they were parodying on Friends, if I remember correctly, with like Draco Moray. I think
fun.
I believe that's what they were parodying, was her stepping into the elevator shaft. I will
I
rush
think, like,
to Google to double check that.
The lesson hopefully that Star Trek learned from Pulaski is like giving your regulars big opposing personalities. Because like no offense to Gates McFadden, no offense to Dr. Crusher. Dr. Crusher didn't necessarily have a thing in those first couple of seasons of Star Trek: The Next Generations, besides maybe I like the captain.
But we can never be together because he killed my husband.
But I find him so sexy. Like literally, that was her character in the first couple of seasons. And then Pulaski comes in as a breath of fresh air.
Wesley's already calling him dad. It's uncomfortable.
Like Pulaski actually has things to add to scenes. Like her character does stuff and it feels incredibly refreshing. Now, by the way, if she would have stuck around for more seasons, I'm also on the boat that she would have gotten annoying real damn fast. She lives on a spaceship and she doesn't like technology. Fucking get off the spaceship.
She's a clear injection of like conflict, because one of the big things with the first season of The Next Generation is there is no conflict on that ship whatsoever, which is interesting in theory, but very dull to watch. So they take her character, who is basically Bones. I will say, when Crusher comes back in the third season, and you see it quite early on, but it's very obvious as the season goes on, she gets a bit of Pulaski injected into her, where like Crusher is much more outraged when she comes back. Like there's the episode where like Worf refuses to donate blood to the Romulan, and Crusher is just like on the warpath about that, which is just great. It gives the character a dimension, which is kind of fun.
Remember the scene where they play Sabotage over the loudspeakers to like confuse the aliens?
By the way, fucking love that scene. That's my favorite new of the Star Trek movies. Yeah. Remember when Dr. Crusher fucked a ghost?
In a candle? Okay. He lived in a candle?
All right.
That's a real
thing. Be the first thing that has gotten me interested in this show.
That is a real episode. It is a Dr. Crusher-centric episode.
A ghost in a candle that she inherited from her dead grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Who was also fucking the ghost in the candle.
Oh, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. That's like the third Indiana Jones movie where they both have sex with the same Nazi.
On Planet Scotland is also like a very important detail just to weave in there, because why not?
Yeah.
God.
Eric got it. It's Sub Rosa. Sub Rosa is the name of the episode. Good job.
Amazing. Amazingly bad episode.
And then John Mahan with 20 Canadian dollars. Thank you so much. Recently moved to Canada, and the Rewind discussions paired with getting my new apartment set up got me super into my local art house theater. It's been great getting help. It's been a great help for getting settled in. Thanks for all the enthralling chats. What a nice message. That's great. Also, congrats on being in Canada. Sounds nice.
That's got to be
genuinely sounds nice.
Do you have space for a roommate, maybe?
Yeah, our house heater. All right, now you're speaking my language. Yeah,
things are going fine.
Things are going fine here in America.
All right, let's put a pin in some of these super chats. We'll come back shortly. Let's talk about other stuff we've been watching. Jack, what have you been watching this week?
I watched a whole bunch this week. Something I can start off with is I don't know if we want to go. I won't go full into spoilers, but Marty, I believe you also watched the entirety of Fallout Season 2.
I have. Oh, we all did. All three of us did.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, we all did. Mm-hmm. So like I finished Fallout Season 2, and like listen, this is not a spoiler because Season 2 is based on Fallout New Vegas. It takes place in the Vegas Strip.
Eric's gone rogue. He's put up a spoiler warning.
This is not a spoiler.
We need a this is not a spoiler warning that looks visually distinct.
I feel like Eric's gone rogue.
Oh no.
There is a point that they recreate the opening cinematic from Fallout New Vegas, the NCR sniper firing off a shot in slow-mo, and I literally gasped. Yeah. I am such a horrible fanboy. They did the thing that they did in the video game, and I went,
yeah. Sometimes we're easy to please. Honestly, sometimes like these little smooth brains of ours, if you just scratch it in the right spot, you're like, oh yeah, that's it.
It's so stupid, but like they did the thing, and I loved it.
I literally just said, like, there's a moment in Wuthering Heights where Emerald Fennel references a 1958 academic journal article, and I punched the air. I'm like,
That's
yeah,
right.
no, I harbor no illusions here.
Yeah. Lucy getting addicted to drugs halfway through the season. I'm like,
Oh
that happened to be in the game. I got addicted to drugs.
right?
I took too many drugs and I got addicted to them.
I think it was a overall. I think it's a good season. I don't unlike Dunk and Egg, that kind of like we left Dunk and Egg on a very satisfying ending. We could keep following them, or we can just kind of leave it where they are and be happy. Fallout Season 2 ends like kind of on the precipice of other things happening, and I don't feel like the show can end there, and so I don't necessarily like that as a season of television. Like, they didn't end on a cliffhanger. They ended on "we're about to," which it felt a little bad knowing the nature of streaming television shows and how often they get canceled.
Yeah.
Or how long it is between seasons. So.
Right.
Sure. Then where you're gonna be like, I forgot about that. Also, one of my issues with this, which is I don't have the issue with all the shows. I think the show has too many characters. I think they need slightly fewer characters.
Well, for the season length that they have, it's a very dense cast.
And you also you can go an episode or two and they just we'll be like, all right, there's no Maximus
Lucy
in this
isn't a big
episode.
deal,
We're not going inside the vaults in this episode. And it's kind of like, well, I don't know. That's maybe a few of these subplots don't need to be there.
Agreed.
But I still think I like the casting. I think the production design is really cool. I did when they got to New Vegas and what are the big behemoth monsters called? Death Claws.
Yeah.
When they saw those, I was like, I know those guys, and they actually look cool. They kind of looked like puppets at certain times.
They looked really cool. Again, like not a huge spoiler, but we see the NCR power armor. We see the NCR Rangers, which look badass as hell. We see stuff from the video games that's iconic, but it also fits within the world. They do a really good job. I think storytelling wise, they're got off their rocker a little bit as towards the final two episodes, they remember that the Legion exists. And the Legion has not been a threat the entire season. And all of a sudden they're like, well, the Legion's out there. And you just kind of turn around and go, wait, when were the Legion out there?
So Danny kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet. Real. Oh shit, we forgot about that.
I did like the payoff of the Legion plot, where it's like after everything they've been fighting for, they pull the body in and they find the note on the body, and Macaulay Culkin's like, okay, now I need to do a cliffhanger. Now you get a season finale cliffhanger. It's like, okay, right? I'm in the game. I do want to shout. I also want to say, we referenced it a couple of times, it's not Lynchian in any way, shape, or form, but the drawing from David Lynch's work. I'm just glad to see Dougie Jones back on TV. Just really
even happy. Says Coop.
Yeah,
he refers to Walt Goggins' character as Coop at a certain point.
No, it's great. It's good is what it is. Great was, great was a stretch, and I do apologize for that. I'm rescinding great. It is good still, but you can see a little bit of the tightness coming away from it, and so I'm concerned.
Sure. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned going forward, just Jonathan Nolan's history and of creating a sci-fi show with an incredible first season and then it kind of losing the plot.
mean a science fiction western kind of show?
Science fiction western.
Set in the distant future, which is also the past. Kind of cowboy themed.
Yeah. A lot of retro music, needle drops and everything.
In there as well.
I
can't think what you're thinking about. I've got no idea what you're referencing.
When Westworld was good, it was really good.
Oh my God. When Westworld was good, it was so fucking good.
And I will stand up for the second season as a weird dysfunctional season of television, but it is the third season. The third season is the one where the wheels kind of fully come off, and they're just like, anyone for a soft reboot? Anyone soft reboot?
We got some Aaron Paul and some Kid Cudi, and they're no longer in theme parks. I'm like, what?
Wait.
I don't think I want to.
The fourth season
the whole
is
reason why you're watching the show. Yeah, we're not doing that anymore.
But then every once in a while they go to Samurai World, and you're like, okay, this is kind of sick.
Yeah, but that's the second season. That's the second season of Samurai World. Yeah. And then the third season is, the fourth season is what if we go back to the theme park? And it's like, but you were in the theme park to start with. You can't go, my bad. Let's spend a year getting back. I like Westworld. I like Westworld 1, 2, and 4. I think 3 is a disaster of a season, but I do have a soft spot for 2 and 4.
But like Fallout Season 2 is great if you are like me and played and enjoyed Fallout New Vegas. Like the respectful amount of nods that they do to the game are wonderful, and then we do get like a cheesecake ending with like all your favorite characters from the game are here. It's like, hell, yeah, I'm okay with this.
I'll say if the corporate synergy point of this show was to get people to buy the games, I got to the end of the season, I'm like, maybe I should download some of these games on my Steam Deck. Like maybe honestly, I should like play Fallout 3 or play New Vegas again, like completely differently.
An RPG that would like eat my life, I would be like, I would give that a go. Like that's the thing.
Do not do that. Maybe you could play a Star Trek game. Do it. Also, Wolverine got a date. Did you see that, Darren?
No, I did not.
September 14th, the Wolverine game is coming out by the Spider-Man folks.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
Schnicked.
The
universal Wolverine gesture.
Like watching this and watching Night of the Seven Kingdoms, where it's like, oh, I could see something like this, in the Skyrim, in the like Elder Scrolls universe.
I mean, we're getting HBO's doing a Baldur's Gate 3 show,
right? Yeah. Like that it could be fun. What I'm saying is like what I like is that they are taking the world building and telling their own story in that world.
Yeah.
Well, isn't like Alex Garland's doing Elden Ring? Like, yeah.
Alex Garland's doing Elden Ring. Yeah.
Which feels like it will be a similar sort of thing where I don't imagine it will be a direct adaptation.
I have
no
idea what that. I have no idea what that movie's going to be.
It would
like
be
I
impossible.
already kind of don't know what Zelda's going to be like. I definitely don't know what it's going to be like. Like holy moly!
But that's exciting because like something like the thing that excites me about the Fallout TV show is like they did a really good job of just existing within the world. Same with the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We took all their lore and we told our story in it. And that should be how video game adaptations work. We're just going to take this world and live in it for a little bit. Love it.
Love it.
What else? So yeah, I watched an older movie called Coherence. Have you seen or heard of this
movie? Love Coherence. I'm really worried I was that enthusiastic before you started talking about how you feel, because you might not have liked it.
Coherence is a ultra low budget sci-fi movie about a group of friends kind of having a party, and then weird stuff starts happening to them throughout the evening, and they discover kind of like other versions of them. They discover other versions of the world. And when I say ultra low budget, I mean ultra low budget. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say, and this will bleed into another thing I watched, which is Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which is sometimes the worst thing a movie can be is almost good.
Ooh.
And Coherence is like a really interesting budget is $50,000? No, $350,000 budget for Coherence. I 100% believe that. It's shot within one house, and
no, it says 50,000.
50,000.
Is that
50,000? That might be a dollar sign.
Box office is 100. Actually, they made a profit. They hit their They hit their 2.5 like box office.
Multiple.
They should. What about the Coherence cinematic universe?
That's it exactly. They should have been greenlighting sequels.
So yeah, $50,000 to make a movie. Incredible, and it shows. But it's also okay. It's a really interesting story. It is some genuinely good spooky moments and a fascinating story and world that is told in absolutely the worst possible way. They do that thing where they have actors kind of like maybe improv their lines and pretend to be conversational,
like a little mumblecore kind of,
little mumblecore, which just turns into all the actors talking over each other because they don't know apparently how to talk to real humans in real life. It's a bit of a mess. And but it's so close to being good that it becomes more frustrating. It's the uncanny valley of good.
It very much feels like a feature-length film version of a Twilight Zone episode, right?
100%.
It's probably what they were inspired by, even the core premise. Without spoiling, it's like a dinner party, and there's this like kind of a comet or a celestial event going by. And the power goes out, and they go outside, and there's like entire block is dark, except there's one house at the end that also has the lights on.
Yeah.
And it turns out that house at the other end of the block also houses these people having a dinner party. And so everything extrapolates from there. And I feel like the payoff was a little, I've only seen this once, like 12 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it was one of those things. I don't know if I could explain the like mechanics of how the story works and how the science works, but I do like vibe wise, it was that exact kind of like low simmering paranoia that I really like in a lot of my
yes. And I think if they had basically I think if they would have written an actual script instead of just broad strokes and had their actors improv, I think they could have had an incredibly affecting horror movie here, or suspense movie, thriller here, and maybe like $10,000 more for a little bit more outdoor lighting for when they shot outdoors.
The reason I knew about this movie was Patton Oswalt was a giant fan of it and just was like singing its praises, and like I think the creators even like credit him to like helping get the movie out. He didn't like fund the movie or anything. He wasn't a producer, but he just liked it so much that he wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. And yeah.
And it's interesting, and like for being an incredibly low budget movie, it is very, very interesting. I actually think it's even worth your time to watch because it's very interesting. It's just not quite good, and I felt the same way about Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which had some incredible what I described it as having incredible brushstrokes, incredible individual brushstrokes, but if once you step back, the whole picture is a big old mess.
Yes, tell us about that one. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but that's the new Gore Verbinski movie, right?
Gore Verbinski movie. Basically, imagine a Frankenstein of an episode of Doctor Who, an episode of Black Mirror, and an episode of Firefly stitched together in ways that do not work.
I feel like the last
really
part
had me until that
operative. Yeah, like you way to build up, and then just the rug comes right on out.
This is kind of
imagine three of the best things you could imagine.
Yeah.
Now imagine them bad.
Like imagine kind of a mid-level Doctor Who episode in which teenagers are kind of getting addicted to looking at their phones. That's kind of this. Imagine like a really good episode of Black Mirror in which we deal with like uploading our consciousness into computers. And there's a little bit of that. And then there's a little bit of Firefly, kind of like a main character who seems like they don't know what they're doing, but they kind of do. And it's the worst versions of all of those, or straight up ripoffs of some of those. So the main premise is a time traveler ends up in a diner, and he says, "Hey, we have to stop the apocalypse from happening. And somewhere in this diner, a group of you come with me to stop the apocalypse. I don't know exactly what group that is. I've been here 100 times and I haven't found the right group yet. So who's going to help me this time?" And, he finds his group and they go on the adventure. So it's a little Groundhog Daisy. And a little bit of that. The movie has broad strokes about like how darn kids are addicted to their phones, and about how AI is bad, and about how normalizing tragedy is turning us into absolute monsters. And it just kind of turns out to be not interesting. Most of it is these darn kids look at their phone too much, which is trite,
to be fair,
to say the least.
These darn kids do look at their phone too much.
Hear me out.
Honestly, also, these darn adults look at their phones too much as well.
Yeah. Packard Take is the first time I hear something bad about this. No, and this is no spoilers. As the movie literally starts with him, with Sam Rockwell coming into the diner and saying, "I'm from the future.
There's apocalypse is coming. I need somebody to help me,
and I need people to help me." To me, it was just on that side of trite of like we got really. I won't get into the specifics of it, but there is a bit of a subplot about school shootings and how
which was controversial. Like apparently distributors want them to cut that out, if I remember correctly.
Oh, and that is to me, that should have been the whole damn movie. Like that was haunting and interesting and actually saying something about how constant trauma is warping our brains. And it was really, really interesting. But they kind of dropped that thread after 15 minutes and got back to the kids look at their phone too darn much. So interesting, not great. Maybe watch it when it comes to streaming.
I was about to say, I'm going to see this movie. Do you think it is worth it? Do you think it feels like a theater worthy? Less in how you thought about the movie, but like visually, do you think it's like
no?
Gore Verbinski, like the Pirates of the Caribbean movies are fucking great. I genuinely love that trilogy. Like,
even the second two, which are like not necessarily the most coherent in terms of plot or story or theme, look stunning. Like Davy Jones is one of the great creations of like digital special effects. No, he is. I think. Sorry.
Skarsgård is incredible with all the fucking barnacles coming out of his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there is nothing visually striking about this movie to make it worth a theater ticket. Wait till this comes to a streaming service, get it for as cheap as you can, and maybe you'll find something there. I don't know. So
I will say, like, sorry, go ahead. Marty. No, go ahead.
All you.
No, we're talking each other over Coherence. We're doing our own Coherence here. But no, like I'm very like as somebody who's very fond of Gore Verbinski, and like will acknowledge a lot of the Gore Verbinski stuff is stuff that you mentioned. Is Verbinski, when he works, is great. Like, I think Mouse Hunt is phenomenal. I think the first Pirates of the Caribbean is a phenomenal film. I think they are like the pinnacle of like mass entertainment blockbusters. But he is like a filmmaker who never has too few ideas. Like, he's a filmmaker who like never, when you're looking at one of his movies, do you go, man, you really stretched that one out to its limits. Like, yeah, I think you wore that. Maybe you could have added a little bit more on top. You're never like, no, there was a bit more room on the plate there for you to fill out. Like, the Mexican, which is a movie that I don't think quite works, but is jam-packed full of like wild ideas, where to your point, you're like, this 15-minute subplot should be the movie. Like, you watch The Mexican and you go, James Gandolfini's gay life advice hitman should be that movie. Like, get Brad Pitt and Julia Roberts out of this movie. That's not what I'm interested in. I want to spend like 2 hours with James Gandolfini just hanging out. And there's an element of that with like A Cure for Wellness, which is a movie that I absolutely love, which is like 2 hours and like 15 minutes or 2 hours and a half long. Does not need to be that long at all. But like, to Marty's point, looks absolutely gorgeous and is like full to the brim of all these weird, interesting, gothic, uncomfortable ideas where you're like, you could have tightened this down. You could have winnowed it out. You could have made like a more tightly focused, honed piece of cinema. But the messiness is kind of the appeal. Where like even the
sure.
The like the sequels to the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, which are not great narratively, but are still like two of the most like sumptuous visual blockbusters in memory. The third Pirates of the Caribbean movie, which I want to stress made nearly $1 billion at the global box office, opens with the hanging of like an 8-year-old kid. And I'm like, there is something in what Gore Verbinski does where like part of my reptile brain is like, we should be encouraging, even if this doesn't work. Like, he should be.
Isn't there a 20-minute stretch where it's like Johnny Depp's like weird liminal space limbo that he's in? Like,
he's on an island with multiple Johnny Depps, and it's like it has nothing to do with the plot. You could airlift that out, and the movie would be 20 minutes shorter and probably objectively better. But to Jack's point, you're like, or hear me out here. What if that 20 minutes were the entire movie?
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So some incredibly interesting individual strokes, but all in all, fell apart.
One of the big what ifs of blockbuster filmmaking in the last 20 years is he was attached and close to starting pre-production on a BioShock movie. Which I feel like he could have made as, a game that is not lacking weird ideas. I feel like he would have been someone interesting to try to take a crack at that.
Absolutely,
because it was a huge long gap between like A Cure for Wellness and this, like, is the thing. Like, part of me is like, I'm just glad this movie got made and distributed. And I will say, as somebody who's on social media, I like the film's really weirdly aggressive social media presence, where it is not timid about the fact that I should be watching Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, like, right now. It's not like, please, Mr. Mooney, make some time. It's very much like, by the way, you should be watching it right now. Why aren't you watching this movie right now?
What is wrong with you?
Yeah. Like, no, that is like, if you go to its Twitter feed, it is like literally retweeting AI news going, yeah, this is the shit right here. and like, it's like having a high per theater average, and it's like, we should be in more theaters, and I'm like, that's the attitude. You keep doing that. Like,
just flood the zone. It's fine.
The final thing that I watched was an old Jackie Chan movie, that I'd never seen before, called My Lucky Stars. This is a movie that has been circulating around. The clips of it have been circulating around social media. You probably know this movie by seeing the one clip of the movie with the muscle lady in a swimsuit. That's been circulating around social media, going, "Hey, this lady used to be in a lot of kung fu movies," and I saw that and said, "Now I kind of want to watch his kung fu movies." And I'd never seen it before, so it worked. By the way, watching Eric. There she is. There's a muscle lady who's in this movie. It's an incredibly bizarre movie. The first 5 minutes is kind of a standard Jackie Chan movie. He's a Hong Kong police officer trying to find gangsters. And the last 15 minutes of this movie is a standard Jackie Chan movie where Jackie Chan is a Hong Kong detective who found the gangsters and is having a big, elaborate kung fu fight on multiple levels with multiple characters. And it's so the first 5 minutes, the last 15 minutes, full of really fun kung fu fights and action. It's this middle hour and 20 minutes that has almost no action whatsoever, and it consists of Revenge of the Nerds style sexual assault as jokes comedy. With those men right there. These men are all, it follows a group of criminals who need to infiltrate the underground, having very little to do with Jackie Chan whatsoever. And they get teamed up with a girl cop. And the first thing they do is fake a home invasion so that they can each individually get tied up to her while she wears a nightgown. That's the kind of sexual assault is the jokes that appear in this movie. And I was not expecting that from a Jackie Chan movie.
See, when Jack was saying, Knight's Tale, you don't get to call yourself a cult hit. Jack's like, I served my time.
I've been in the cult mines.
This is exactly the kind of okay, yeah, this is weird. This is culty. There's probably not a really fancy Criterion release of this movie.
Like the start of Jurassic Park, where a small child runs up and hands Jack a DVD of a Jackie Chan movie, and Jack kind of looks at it and just kind of nods. He's like, yes, this is the one.
Eric has seen this movie, though.
Oh,
Eric's in the chat. He saw this movie.
Yeah. By the way, parts of it are really fun and really good. The ending 15-minute fight sequence is really, really amazing. It's just this middle chunk where they tried to make a boner comedy that features a ton of sexual assault, where you're like, oh, I didn't know we were doing that in all countries. Great. Okay, great.
It was the 80s.
The 80s came for all of us.
Going around. Yeah.
Lovely. Were any of those on Tubi?
None of those were on Tubi,
but I know you have an update to Tubi.
I do have an update to Tubi.
I want to hear about it.
So we are pivoting. This segment will no longer be called To Be Fair.
Wow.
This
huge
segment,
game changer.
Sorry, Eric, I did not tell you about this ahead of time. No, get To Be Fair out of here.
No, get your screenshots. This is the end of To Be Fair.
This is the end of
To Be Fair. But the birth of something new.
It feels like Jack should be standing behind a podium when he's delivering this announcement. We put a lot of
Jack's State of the Union.
I've been preparing all week for this.
I'm a champion of Tubi. I like Tubi as a streaming service because it's a low barrier to entry. You don't even need to log in. You can just watch stuff, and I really like that. But I have discovered recently that Tubi is owned by the Murdochs, and I did not know that ahead of time, and that made me go, ew.
No, you're not talking about Matt Murdoch, the blind lawyer of Hell's Kitchen.
No, I'm talking about the bad Murdochs.
Oh, no.
The bad ones. So someone in our Discord had a very good idea, which is instead of To Be Fair, this segment will now be called To Be or Not To Be, in which it could be a Tubi recommendation, or it could be a recommendation from another free movie service, aka your local library.
Look, and also not legally affiliated with us.
Yeah.
Who also cannot be affiliated.
The person next to us, the person next to you, their library is affiliated with us, but your local library is not affiliated with us.
It's a whole different local library affiliated with us.
Yeah.
That's fair. So, not only can you go to your library and rent movies for free with your library card, they actually have their own streaming service that you can sign up for free with your library card. It's called Canopy, KANOPY.com. Then you can go to Canopy and just watch movies for free with your library card. It's phenomenal. Yeah. And so this is now To Be or Not to Be. The first one I found here on Canopy that I can easily recommend is Lady Bird, a phenomenal movie.
Great movie. Love Lady Bird.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, young adults, coming of age stories. Lady Bird, free to watch with your library card on Canopy. And I know what you're saying. Hey, if we're not in America, we can't go to an American library. And what I'll say to that is you also have problems getting on Tubi. So it's like...
Sounds like you can't be. Am I right?
Oh, I like it.
You guys are rubbing off on me and I don't like it.
Yay!
I will say somebody I was with started punning and they were like, I hate how fun this is.
It's a game. Like the puns individually aren't necessarily funny. The game of how many puns can you make up on one specific topic, that's funny.
And to be fair,
you're opening a whole can of peas here.
I also didn't mean to be fair as a to be fair. I was literally the phrase to be fair. Everything is owned by terrible people. And so we just all have to make our judgment calls of like, I'm sure several of the things, I can't imagine, the heads of all these companies are terrible.
Of course.
We do our best.
As we talk about an Amazon show that we like, we know it's right.
And I was actually about to say when Jack said, I don't know where Lady Bird is available internationally, I was like, it's on Amazon Prime in the UK and Ireland, a company with no ethical strings attached to it whatsoever.
Listen, by the time the next season of Night of the Seven Kingdoms come out, the Ellisons might own HBO, so who knows?
Right. Oh, right. And by the way, I will still give Tubi recommendations. I'm still going to watch Tubi. I still think it's a good streaming service. But we're going to broaden our horizon a little bit.
Yeah, we're not going to turn into the Tubi propaganda platform that we have been.
Exactly.
You know what, Tubi, you could have avoided this if you just would have responded to Jack's email.
By the way,
you could have paid us off. We would have never told anyone.
I accept payoffs.
Why is there this photo of Jack and Rupert Murdoch fishing together? He said you're his number one son?
You're my number one boy.
Yeah.
Unlike his real fail sons. Incredible. Anything else, Jack?
I think that's all the things I've been watching.
Okay, I'm gonna burn through some more. Not burn through because we appreciate all the super chats. We're gonna do some more super chats. I'm gonna come back to you, Darren.
Okay, I did see Begonia, but we don't have to talk about it.
Oh,
it was very.
Oh, okay.
No, it was very good. It was very good, and I really liked it.
But was shade cast at Begonia.
No,
I like
shade
it.
cast.
Yeah.
Begonia was really good, and I really liked it. But
agree.
I can hear wind too. Eric
No, that's me.
Okay.
It's not wind. It's the world's loudest airplane going over my house.
I gotcha.
I thought we were going.
I'm trying to get us to the next topic, but I can't because it won't leave. Okay, it's gone. I think it's gone now.
Okay,
apologies. King, I'm going to speak through it. Everything's fine. King and Commoner with a $5 dono. Thank you so much. The real question isn't whether Night of the Seven Kingdoms revitalizes Game of Thrones, but whether Night is at all served by being a part of it. It was created by the guy who made Game of Thrones, and it's in that world. And I think this goes back to what we were talking about of in a perfect world, you could just create original things, but we kind of just don't live in that world anymore. So sometimes you have to do the best you can with the, pieces you are given. And that's how we were talking about Andor and Wonder Man and everything. And yeah.
Have you ever gone to a concert and fallen in love with the opening act?
Interesting. Yeah.
You didn't go to that concert to see the opening act. You went to see the headliner, but then you went to that concert and fell in love with the opening act. There is a very real world in which, like, again, this is the promise, is Game of Thrones is there to get eyeballs on it, and they are telling a well-told, simple story that people probably wouldn't have watched. It probably wouldn't have gotten produced without that name on it. And it's the same as an opening band for a headliner. Like, the headliner is there to bring in the eyeballs, and then they, what do they say? A high tide raises all ships. The openers are there to get their shot. And so this is just a Night of the Seven Kingdoms getting their shot.
Somebody saw Sparks as a warm-up act, and I'm kind of I'm envious of them.
Sparks as a warm-up act.
At the right time, you can get some of those incredible warm-up acts where it's like, oh, it was before you blew up.
Yeah,
exactly. And so, like, think about it in, I guess, to me, think about it in that light of, like, it's using the banner to raise up some great artistry.
I mean, I would also make the point that I think, like, Night of the Seven Kingdoms is in conversation with Game of Thrones, where, like, even if it weren't a Game of Thrones show, we would be talking about it in relation to Game of Thrones, because modern TV fantasy is defined by its relationship to Game of Thrones. But, like, no, but it is, like, we understand it in terms of what it is saying about ideas of, like, honor and chivalry and nobility and power, because those are the same things that Martin was saying in Game of Thrones, just in a different way. And, like, you know, we had a whole conversation last week about lore and my distrust of, like, explicitly articulated lore, and the fact that, like, I like things that stand on their own, and this does stand on its own. But, and Eric can put up a spoiler warning for the next 30 seconds of what I'm about to say, at the end of this season of, like, Night of the Seven Kingdoms, there is a moment where a character goes, like, well, was your hand and your foot worth what happened, what it cost at the end of this season, the price that was paid for your arm and your foot? Should you have not have sacrificed those and spared the realm the indignity of what happened at the end of the season? And he says, I don't know. And in the context of the show, if you're just watching the show, you don't know. But he's a nice guy, and yeah, the arm and leg of a good man are worth more than the pride of some spoiled prince. But, I say, but, if you know your Game of Thrones lore, you also know that at some point in the distant future, that arm and that leg will end up saving the lives of several members of the same family that are complaining about him now. So in a very real sense, when the character asks, was your leg worth the life of a prince of the realm? If you are familiar with the lore of Game of Thrones, without the show telling you, you know the answer is yes. Yes, it is definitively, unambiguously yes. It is worth the life of a prince and a princess. Mathematically, that's worth more than the life of a prince. Like, it is, and I know that's a very nerdy, lore-heavy answer, and, like, not everybody watching will get that, but it is an illustration to me of how the show is in conversation with the larger Game of Thrones, where you wouldn't have that answer if it wasn't part of Game of Thrones. You wouldn't have that context if it wasn't part of Game of Thrones. So I think it being part of Game of Thrones is, you know, if this were its own show, it would still be a good show. It would still be a great show. I don't think it would be diminished in any significant way. But I also think that it being part of Game of Thrones is, like, a large part of what it's about, and it's understood in conversation with it. So I think it's a good example of a franchise extension, if that makes sense.
Nice.
Well said. I like that. Joffrey Amamau, thank you so much for a $5 dono. Don't like Game of Thrones, but I enjoyed Night of the Seven Kingdoms because it felt so much in conversation with Gawain and the Green Knight, both the Pearl Poets and Lowry's deconstruction.
Rewatched that recently. Fucking love it. Like, it's
real good.
Great
it's
movie.
a real pretty movie.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fucking
Blue Team, thank you so much for God, I tried to just get through because I knew you were going to do that, and then I knew that was just going to take more time. I'm aware we have 20 donos, Eric. I'm aware. I have them all listed in my doc. I am fucking aware.
Eric got rid of me.
Eric got rid of me. Right. I am trying my hardest. I hand waved Begonia, one of my favorite movies of the year. I poo-pooed it. I said, no Begonia.
Why are you Italian?
Begonia!
Begonia!
Bastone. Fuck. Listen, I don't got any kids I need to pick up, so you're only hurting yourself, Jack.
That was true.
And I want you to remember this moment, Jack, when we get to the movies I saw this week. Just remember this moment.
Oh, no.
Pretty, like, fucking no.
Okay, excellent. Blue Team, thank you so much for a $10 dono. Off topic, but is there a fictional character that if you had to go, I just don't relate to them, this character is me? For me, that's Soletta Mercury from Gundam Witch from Mercury. Like, what is the most you can relate, not even just relating to a character? What fictional character in, you know, movies or television feels the most, like, ripped from your essence? That might be like a more, like, I don't know if we can answer this question off the top of the dome.
Right. Well, I just because I just mentioned it because it's on Canopy, like, thinking about something like Lady Bird, about, like, you know, grew up in a slightly religious household with a mother who was kind of there and kind of not there. Like, Lady Bird had a lot of, like, oh yeah, I grew up like that. Not the most like me, for, you know, some obvious what's in my pants differences, but like very much like I felt seen as like, yeah, that's how I grew up.
Yeah, I feel really bad that my answer is like Julian Bashir on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Like that, I feel like Jack's like, I have a really heartfelt answer from independent cinema that speaks profoundly to the human experience, and Darren's like, no, I remind myself of the big freaking nerd on the Star Trek spin-off show. That's the guy who feels a bit like me.
You're like, oh yeah, this is
the guy everybody hated for 3 years, but then discovered was actually awesome. That's the guy.
Yeah, there you go. Mine is, well, first off, I really like John Arbuckle's answer of Laris Strong, who's best known for just cranking off on someone's foot. Mine was going to be Arlen Pennytree because he's got a big fat hog. Next dono, $8
We didn't even talk about floppy dong theory.
Oh my God. We didn't. I mean, honestly, we can carve out a little bit of time.
A little bit of time for a whole lot of the hog.
Okay. All right. Okay. So floppy dong theory states that
I swear to Christ, we had this conversation last episode. We also had the conversation where Darren brought up the beginning of Pirates of the Caribbean. We are in a fucking coherence. We're coherencing. We're having the same conversations.
What context? It was like hanging an 8-year-old child. Like
You've brought that up on multiple podcasts, Darren. Chat, please, you guys have better memories than me. Do we not bring that up often as well as floppy dong?
Darren has 100% brought that up before. But we haven't had this conversation because I didn't see the Knights of the Seven Kingdom 2 weeks ago. I only saw it over the past couple of days.
Darren said floppy dong was 20-minute topic last episode. Okay, but sorry, we did not talk about this specific floppy dong, please.
Okay, so floppy dong theory states unsexualized or unsensationalized nudity. I would argue that this does not fall under floppy dong theory because his big floppy dong is played mostly as a joke.
Okay.
Comedy though.
Huh?
Like the show's general mode, and particularly like that early on its run, is comedy though, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like saying like so. Okay, so for example, forgetting Sarah Marshall doesn't qualify under floppy dong theory.
I
like this. Marty's
we've
minutes.
brought up this exact we've had this conversation.
but seeing him naked was shocking, but like seeing his hog in specific wasn't the joke. I believe the bigness of the dong was a joke. Therefore, it doesn't apply to floppy dong theory. That's my take.
It was like startling. It was like a jump scare.
Yeah. Giant.
Yeah, no, like, and particularly like when the context of so much of the episode is perfectly average man, nothing remarkable about Sir Arlen.
Yeah.
Yep. Nothing that you would memorize about him. Thank you, Eric, for that image. Glad to see Danny Webb, who's one of the Alien 3 prisoners, and I think a Doctor Who guest star in the past. So good for him.
Fun. That's fun. Yeah, between him and the Alpha from 28, the new 28 movies. Yeah. Huge.
I think I mentioned my sister references, like, is it 28 years later, as that movie with Samson with the monster schlong.
Yeah.
Is just she described that movie.
Samson. That sounds like an old folk song. Samson with the massive
schlong.
Jenny from Old Town.
With the monster schlong, crucially.
The monster schlong.
Yeah, she's humanitarian. She doesn't see the illness. She sees him as a person. It is in fact the schlong that is the monster.
Oh, that's kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
Super chat number 2. Sandy with 8 Australian dollars. Thank you so much. Good day, guys. Ooh, I almost started to do an Australian accent, and I'm glad I didn't. But you did start with good day. Yeah. Finally catching one live. Darren just wanted to say thanks for the extensive Andor coverage. Made the rewatch with friends phenomenal. I agree. Sometimes when I rewatch stuff, I do go back to your coverage, Darren. Even stuff I already read, where I'm like, oh, I like kind of getting your take on it fresh.
Yeah, I mean, like Andor was the one where it's like we don't do weekly recaps of the show, so it's just like for those 4 weeks, my columns were Andor. But yeah, no, like it's a great show. I know Jack has never and will never watch it, but it's a great show. I hardly recommend it. Yeah.
You know what? Have it be your deathbed.
Thank you for that.
Last thing you watch on your deathbed.
I like to lay out, like, no, you've got like 24 hours before you're due to pass away. The doctor comes over, like, Jack, you only got 24 hours to live. And he's like, to who do I go?
Fire up Disney Plus. You don't want to speak it with your family? No.
Time to watch Mannequin 12 times in a row.
He died as he lived, making the right choices.
His last
Jam
words
on.
were, "A Knight's Tale is not a cult movie."
Jam on Toast, thank you so much for a $2 dono. Hodor is implied to be a descendant of Dunk. I think a lot of characters are implied to be a descendant of Dunk. I think Bran of Tarth is supposed to be a descendant of Dunk. They fuck a lot. They fuck a lot. They have a bunch of kids. They fuck a lot.
He's been dunking quite a bit, yeah.
There you go. He's a big boy. Anyone tall. He's like the reason. He's the reason for the Westeros national basketball team getting gold in the Olympics.
Do love franchise brain where like tall is now like a genetic trait that has to be explained through lore.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah.
Waiting for Seaman too. Thank you so much for the dono. Not feeling like introducing myself to the lore of Game of Thrones. Is Netflix's Green Eggs and Ham good enough? Also, I'll open a Pandora's box. Last Toy Story 5 trailer. I don't know what Netflix's Green Eggs and Ham is. That's just
I don't
It's just a joke. Green Eggs and Ham is the Dr. Zeus thing. It's a reference to eggs because it's got eggs in it.
Oh, it's an egg goof. Gotcha.
Marty is like so frustrated that he has like lost the ability to process wordplay.
I'm not actually frustrated. I'm just working. It's fine. We can talk for like 10 hours. It's fine with me.
That's actually
as long as we get done by 5:30, 3.5 hours from now.
That actually makes me feel worse. But anyway.
Toy Story 5 trailer. Toy Story 5 is coming, I believe, this summer. It seems like it's the toys against encroaching technology, like a leap pad or something.
Great.
Yeah.
As someone who like, I might be like, am I the only critic who didn't mind Toy Story 4? Like, I thought it was fun.
I really loved it.
I didn't mind. I think it could have ended on 3, and that probably would have been a little tighter ending to the franchise. But
no, it's fine.
Sorry, go ahead there, Jack. Sorry.
I was just gonna say 4 was fine. I think this one will be fine.
What I find funny is that like 3 and 4 both end with definitive "we're done, no more Toy Stories for you" endings. Like Toy Story 3 is like Andy gives the toys away, and the movie's like, see, no more toys, no more Toy Stories ever. And then they're like, we're making Toy Story 4. It's like, okay. But at the end of Toy Story 4, Woody goes away and waves goodbye. So no more Toy Stories ever. And then they're like, but the last couple of Pixar movies underperformed, so I guess we're making Toy Story 5. This one's gonna have Buzz like dipping into like a pool of molten lava, giving a thumbs up. Like that's the ending we're gonna get.
Literally them all going into the incinerator, and they're saying, "No, really, this time we're all done." Yeah. It's fine.
With the caveat that it was the early screening reaction Twitter things, the reactions of the upcoming Pixar movie Hoppers, which is coming out in like a few weeks. The early reactions I read were like incredible. Yeah. And I didn't know this was a movie. I think it might be about beavers.
It's about going undercover. It's about like going undercover in the animal kingdom. So it's basically you are like kind of like jumping into the body of an animal and then infiltrating the animal kingdom in the persona of the animal. It's like an undercover animal movie, which is a really cool premise. And
sorry.
Yes.
Got excited.
No, but like, and it looks fun. It actually does. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm seeing that next week. I'm quite looking forward to that.
Nice.
Yeah, great. It's got Bobby Moynihan and John Hamm. Speaking of big old,
we like those people.
Moving on. Thrilgamesh. Ooh, I like the name Thrilgamesh. $5 dono. They should have ended Game of Thrones like they ended the Feast movie franchise.
Anybody know how they ended the Feast movie franchise?
This one was above my pay grade. I don't know what the Feast movie franchise is. I don't know what Feast is.
Yeah, sorry.
Other than a large meal.
Yep. You stumped us.
That's a true cult movie.
Schwab.
Yeah.
Are those werewolves or turkeys? The image is very small, and so I'm squinting. It's probably werewolves. Could be turkeys.
Fine. No, it's fine.
Evil Myra, thank you so much for the donut. Did someone say super chats? Sons of bitches. Waiting for Seaman is back.
What's the timestamp on that, by the way? Just so you get
115 hours ago. Yesterday. Waiting for Seaman. Thank you so much with a dono. Want to see a movie in the theater? Make sure to be late to skip all the AI shorts and the commercials and the trailers. Wait, I'll just invest in a good sofa and a projector.
I mean,
but home theaters will never compete with the movie theater. I just will say, no matter how good your theater setup at home is, you can cut it. 100% agree. It cuts away all the bullshit of movie theaters. It will never be as good as a good movie theater.
Yeah. It will never be as good.
A good one.
Yeah.
It'll never be as good as that experience when you watch a movie with a packed crowd who's all invested in the movie like you are, and everyone is reacting, amplifying your reactions. The sound is there, the picture is there. No, like the good movie experiences are worth the bad ones. When I saw Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, there was a couple behind me who was trying to predict what was happening next, and I didn't. But what I wanted to do is turn around and say, hey, if you're going to talk through the movie, at least predict correctly. Of course we know that this twist is about to happen. You didn't even get that one, you chumps. I think she's the bad guy. No, she's not the bad guy. She's secretly this and this and this. We all know that already.
Maybe if you weren't whispering during exposition,
you would know the incredibly obvious twist that they're going to reveal in 20 minutes, you chumps. But
I will say, like, I was quite happy when the entire theater gasped when Heathcliff had bought Wuthering Heights. I was like, I will never get this experience at home because I already knew that.
Yeah, agreed. Incredible. Movie theaters, incredible.
Mindule, thank you so much. That Little Toaster sure was brave. I was terrified. Brave Little Toaster is a nice movie. It's a nice movie. Sir John Arbuckle, thank you so much. A €2 dono. Comic Corner, Nick Spencer's cap was Hydra all along.
They want me to do 20 minutes on Nick Spencer's like Captain America run in the early Trump era of Marvel Comics, along with the all different line and the collapse of the diversity within the industry into like a bland, homogenous whiteness that is basically slowly eating it from the inside. But I'm not going to fall for that bait. No, I do think like fuck it, let's start a clock on this thing. Let's go with like, give me 2 minutes. No, the Nick Spencer like Captain America run is like really fascinating because it is based around this idea of what does Captain America mean in the Trump era? And there is this big revelation that like Captain America, thank you, Jack, I appreciate it, is secretly like he's been working for Hydra, so he's secretly a white supremacist, although they're not a white supremacist organization, and he secretly has always been in the land of comics because of retcons and all this sort of stuff. And it's like it is such an interesting idea on paper because it gets into this idea of like what is Marvel Comics in the era of Trump? What does like diversity represent? Thank you, Eric, I appreciate you zooming in on it. And this idea of like, what does it mean to make comics that speak to a modern audience at a time when America feels like it is kind of crumbling at its foundations and everything that everybody believes about the country is a lie. In practice, however, because of the nature of comic books, the nature of the industry, the nature of publishers, the nature of fans, instead of engaging with that idea like theoretically and in the abstract, you instead had a whole bunch of people get really angry at the idea that like Steve Rogers, the all-American perfect specimen of masculinity with his perfect body, blonde hair and blue eyes, could ever possibly be misconstrued as an icon of white supremacy? What are you guys talking about? That's clearly nothing that could be implied about that character, and certainly nothing that creator Jack Kirby did multiple times while working on the character himself, therefore woking it into the fabric of the... I know we're at 1 minute and 10 seconds, I'm going to wrap this up very quickly. But while Marvel had this big push for diverse heroes, so it had like the Black Captain America, it had the female Thor, it had the Black Spider-Man, the problem is that like you had this big pushback in Trump era America where the end of Secret Empire is supposed to be this diverse band of heroes coming together to vanquish the white supremacist Captain America, therefore representing a moment in American history where a diverse coalition of diverse interests come together to fight off the yoke of white supremacy, but instead they cower at the last minute and the ending becomes no, the real Captain America, the real white guy, your real daddy Steve Rogers materializes and punches the evil Nazi in the face, and all of this will be solved by the white guy who was meant to be there all along, painted by Rob Liefeld. 2 minutes and I'm out. Hated that run so much.
Great.
Can we start doing that during the Star Trek segments? I didn't realize we could just do that. In all seriousness, that was an incredible job of distilling that in 2 minutes. That was... Yeah. I'm often impressed by you, and just add that one to the list. That was very good.
There's an incredible book to be written about that period of history where Marvel like seemed to be going for a diverse, multicultural young audience, and then just pivoted right back to nostalgia porn for like 40-year-olds, and it eroded the industry from the inside. Read the Ultimates, read the Absolute Universe. They're great at the moment. And
Stop listening because you're over the 2 minutes.
Yep, that's it. I'm out.
I'm kidding. Jaduzus Jajezius with a 2 euro dono. What is a character actor? Is Brad Pitt one? Leo? I would say no. They are both leading men. A character actor is someone who generally doesn't play the lead character in a movie, plays like a strange supporting character. My always goof is that if an actor has 3 names, then they are a character actor. Philip Seymour Hoffman, John C. Reilly. I mean, I guess pretty much anyone in Magnolia. Philip Baker Hall. It's a weird amount of them. William H.
Paul
Macy.
Thomas Anderson is a character director. Like,
He really is.
Yeah.
By the way, he 100% is.
Yeah. And then sometimes you get the character actors trapped in the body of someone so we often bring it up with Colin Farrell. Is like a character actor trapped in the body of a handsome leading man.
Right.
I would also argue
John
performances
Hamm.
are like, make me fat, make me ugly, shave my head. Let me be like Bill Camp. I want to be Bill Camp.
Yeah.
Arguably one of the top 5 character actors. Absolutely incredible.
Like generally, well, they're called character actors because you don't know their name, you know the characters
It's
they
that
play
guy,
better.
like
than.
William Fichtner. He's one of those guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Ned Ryerson from Groundhog Day. You know that actor from like a ton of movie where he just plays random characters. What his real name is, maybe Darren knows because he was in Christopher Nolan movies.
Which guy?
The guy who played Ned Ryerson in Groundhog Day, who was also
Stephen Tobolowsky.
What
Who's
Christopher
wonderful.
Nolan movies is
He's
he
in Memento. He's in Memento. He's Leonard Jenkins.
He's Leonard Jenkins.
That's right. The guy that keeps giving
Yeah.
or the wife is
He's
the one
also
giving him the insulin.
Yeah.
Yes, he's also in the best episode of The Lone Gunman as well.
There you go.
Piece of
So
trivia.
anyway,
All
that's
roads
what a
lead back to
character
Nolan
actor
and
is.
all roads lead back to Nolan and X-Files and Star Trek.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
Also
for this
very
podcast.
true. Yeah.
Snake in the Garden, thank you so much for a 2 euro dono. Darren, please watch Kaguya-sama next. Kaguya-sama is one of the all-time great rom-coms. It is a 3-season anime series that is pretty much told in like short little vignettes, like 3 vignettes per episode, about the president and vice president of like a prep high school.
High school, yeah.
Yeah. But it is genuine, and it's these 2 characters who are clearly in love with each other, but because of their statuses and because of like what they think a person in their status should do, they refuse to be the one to admit it. And so they are always trying to get the other one to admit that they're in love with them. And they do that via like it turns those moments into like combat. Even though it's not combat, because 90% of it takes place in the same room, but it's like, how do I trick the other person into confessing their love for me? And there's this incredible narrator that comes in and almost scores each interaction. Genuinely, I honestly think it might be like the best rom-com television series ever made.
I unfortunately, for the other podcast, I do have to watch every episode of Demon Slayer at some point in the near future.
Oh no.
We already said the name the 250 doesn't matter. You can just do whatever you want.
I know, but we kind of have to do the new movies on 250 at some point.
If you just wait long enough, it might get kicked. Jack,
it won't get kicked.
I think you would love this show, and it's one I highly recommend watching in English as well because the American cast is incredible.
Wonderful.
Yeah, great. Blu-ray $2 dono. Thank you.
I want to shout out
Jack
Cyber Chief, by the way, in the comments saying Kaiga's great, and you've already explained this several times to Jack and Darren, and they're still politely listening. Appreciate them, Marty. Thank you. Thank you, Cyber Chief.
I should be the one to appreciate the fact that I repeat myself every once in a while. My apologies, Cyber Chief. I beg your pardon.
You know, Marty, this reminds me of a Star Trek episode.
2 minutes on the clock.
Several, actually. Yeah. Can I get 2 minutes per episode?
You don't get 2 minutes per episode. No, you're pushing it. Thank you so much. Jack is Doc Holliday going through chemo. I didn't like that joke. Udask, thank you so much. £5 dono. Did you catch Sunny or Murderbot? We had a great time with both. Also, Spy Family, which is a delight. I don't know what Sunny... Murderbot was the live-action show starring a Skarsgård, right?
Yeah, Alexander Skarsgård, right?
The Murderbot Diaries.
Yeah.
I don't know what Sunny
it.
is. Do you know what Sunny is?
Like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Sunny in Philadelphia was the first place my mind went, but I don't think that's it.
There's a black comedy series, like black dark comedy. Why did I have to explain that? Whatever. Fucking, you're all dead to me. There was a show apparently with Rashida Jones called Sunny.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I like Rashida Jones.
Great.
Yeah, great.
That was it.
Oh, it's a little robot in it. It's got like the little Mithrigan 2 doll.
Oh, okay.
You don't need to put the 3 in it. Mithrigan 2. That's too confusing.
That's how you pronounce it, right? No, Mithrigan 2.0. Apologies. I got the title correct.
Buck with a 5-pound dono. Thank you so much. With DC's Brave and the Bold coming, any people you'd like to cast? I have 2. Dylan O'Brien as Nightwing and Christopher Eccleston as the Joker.
Ooh.
Is Eccleston too old is the question. I think Eccleston would be great, but is Eccleston too old is the question.
I think an old Joker could be interesting.
Brave and the Bold is camp, and so as far as I know, like I haven't read the Brave and the Bold comics. I only know the animated series Brave and the Bold, which ups the camp a significant amount.
But also the idea is that it's going to be reintroducing Robin into live action. Is the big pitch of the movie.
Gotcha. So,
but are they going to be? Don't people also think they're going to wait to launch that until after the Reeves trilogy is going to be done in 15 years?
That is the rumors that now, like, Andy Muschietti has kind of been moved a little bit adjacent to the movie. And, like, there is this, like, Sam Raimi, meanwhile, is during the Send Help press tour being like, everybody's talking about how superhero movie fatigue. I have a problem with superhero movies. I don't get to direct enough of them. And I'm like, just let the man direct the live action movie with Robin in it. I feel like he could have fun. But yeah, the big pitch was always that this is going to be an adaptation of Jack Start the 2-Minute Clock, of Grant Morrison's Batman and Robin run. That was the big pitch. It was going to be like a kind of a campier, funner Batman. Now the subtext is the subtext is that they are waiting until after Matt Reeves completes his trilogy. If you read between the lines, part of me is wondering if they're also waiting until whoever buys Warner Brothers and decides what happens next with the IP has sorted everything out. Would seem to be what I suspect is the actual business decision that is being made with that property.
If Netflix buys it, the movie's going straight to streaming. And if Paramount buys it, it turns out all the villains had it coming, and Batman should have full authority to beat the shit out of anyone in Gotham City he wants to with 0 repercussions. Double the
Dean
fingers.
Cain counts as Superman.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus.
Kid Rock is the Joker. Double the fingers.
Love, by the way, the Chris Pratt in Mercy reaction I got from Jack there. Jeez, no!
Remember Mercy? That was this year. That was like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah. And Jack's performance?
Yeah.
At least as good as, if not better than, Chris Pratt's.
Was not paid as much, though.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Was not paid as much. Yeah. Double the fingers. Thank you so much. Finally saw Badlands and liked how Wayland Yutani knows quite a lot about the Yucha, but doesn't seem particularly interested. Like they're just a curious nuisance.
I mean, they have their main and their side chick, really seems to be the thing going on here.
Listen, in the grand scheme of things, I feel like you got to worry a little bit more about one side of this thing. That, like, the Predators, like, they pop up every once in a while and everything. Yeah. But if you leave them alone, they're probably not going to come to Earth.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they are probably all going to hunt the poor, so you're fine. Like, it's not really a business.
It's exactly. Jonathan Griffin, thank you so much for a $10 dono. Never watched Game of Thrones as I was too young when it was at its peak. Can I watch A Night of the Seven Kingdoms and go back to Thrones when I have time for an 8-season watch? Or should I watch Thrones first to appreciate it? I think this could be a nice jumping in point.
100%. Yeah, you might be disappointed in Game of Thrones by watching this first. Just because they're tonally very different.
They're tonally very different.
They're tonally very different. And so if you find yourself, oh man, I really like how light and fun and small this is, you might have a hard time jumping up to Game of Thrones. But watch this.
Do also wonder, like, if Game of Thrones still has the same effect. Like, what at this stage, 13, maybe how many years since the original broadcast?
Yeah.
When it premiered, there was nothing like it on television. Sure. And in the years since, we have had, like, Amazon make the most expensive show in the world twice. Like, Game of Thrones set a standard, and, like, modern television is very much indebted to the production style of Game of Thrones. I wonder if you go back, it looks quaint. Like, you go back, you watch that first season, like, there's an illusion in Night of the Seven Kingdoms where, like, a character rushes into battle, gets stomped and knocked out, and has a dream sequence that is much more cost effective, which is very much a reference to a beat from the first season of Game of Thrones. But part of me is like, does Game of Thrones seem quaint now? Because it blew my mind when I watched it when it was first airing, because nothing on TV looked like it. But now are you just like, yeah, no, this is like Amazon will be churning out 5 of these a year.
Of course.
Yeah, when did it? Was it 2012?
My mind says 2013, but it can't be that.
2011, April 2011.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Jonathan Griffin back with a $5 dono. Thank you so much. Also, I want Yasi to be on one of these just to see him get progressively aggravated as it goes longer and longer.
Why would you want to see that?
It would be what's happening with me, except I'm putting it on and he would not be putting it on. Yeah. Jesus, he pulls out a gun in this video. What is this video? First off, looks good in a suit. Second off, where do you get that gun from?
He isn't like a big TV and movie guy to the extent that Marty is either. So I feel like there would be an extra layer of like pulling of the the nails.
If you want Yahtzee's movie takes, we are, once the Silent Hill 2 movie comes to VOD, we're going to do an episode
which is
of
today.
Windbreaker.
Today.
Shit.
I'm literally halfway through it now as we talk.
Have you been watching it during the pod? Is that why you don't care as we go along?
I'm like, I have the sound off. It feels like it watches better this way anyway.
I will. Your Letterboxd review is like two stars. Like, I don't know, the plot kind of lost me for a little bit.
For about 3 hours in the middle, I was kind of lost. I will say, Jeremy Irving has less chemistry with his wife in that movie than he did with the horse in Warhorse, and that is a problem.
That's the guy from Warhorse?
Yes. Yeah. He looked like he wanted to fuck that horse more. Yeah.
I did
He
not
absolutely wanted to fuck that horse.
He absolutely wanted to fuck that horse. Like, that is not even subtext of that movie. That's text of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's text of the movie. Waiting for semen. That's not the text of the movie. Thank you so much for the dono. Have you seen the news about The Rookie? It's having a crossover next week with Dropout's Game Changer. Can't wait to see the crossover with Second Wind Staff. Have you heard about this, Jack? I know you're a dropout man, right?
I like Dropout. I like Game Changer. I have no idea what The Rookie is.
The Rookie is, I believe, a Nathan Fillion procedure, like a cop show that's also kind of weird, apparently. And next week's episode is a tie-in with Dropout's Game Changer that also apparently contains an episode of this season's Game Changer within the filming of this thing.
Well, that's neat.
So,
cool.
It seems, I don't know, it seems neat.
Great.
I haven't watched any Dropout stuff, but everyone who has, that sounds very, very good.
I'm a big fan of Dropout. Doing a crossover with us will be difficult because we do not reside within California.
Yeah.
So
we are big Rookie fans, though.
I do also.
If the Rookie wants to do an animated Adventure is Nigh episode,
there we go.
And then pay us a lot of money.
Yeah.
I do want to point out, by the way, for a show called The Rookie, it's been running 8 seasons. That feels a little like premise destroying.
It's like when a college athlete's like in their 7th year, and you're like, what's going on here? Like, probably shouldn't still be playing. You're like 30. Caleb Dennis, thank you so much for a $5 dono. Time for work, but just wanted to say good luck, have fun, don't die. Made me want to go and create my own art. The highest compliment I can give. I always like coming out of a movie or a TV show or something and being like feeling creatively fulfilled, like a creative spark to me of being like, fuck, I want to do something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fair.
Then you end up like putting pen to paper and you just plagiarize the thing you just saw. You're like, wait.
Hey, that's the starting point. Don't publish it, but
have fun, good luck, don't expire, question mark.
I feel like, well, right after I saw Primer for the first time, I was like, I'm going to write a time travel script. And I started writing it and I'm like, I think I'm just writing Primer. I'm just writing my memory. Urban M, thank you so much for the Polish Swoti. In my notes for Coherence, I have literally written excellent dialogue. I feel betrayed now.
It is... Okay, now obviously we can watch the same movie and have different opinions of it because that's how opinions work. To me, that was the weakest part of the movie.
Maybe Urbanum watched the Polish dub, and maybe the Polish dub is superior.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe they used that $30,000 budget towards the Polish dub. Darren, you haven't seen Coherence, have you?
No, I haven't actually. I thought it sounded familiar, but I googled it and it hadn't. I've seen.
I sometimes get it confused with Compliance. That was the movie about the girl on the phone call.
The phone call, yes, which is very good and very unsettling. Yes,
Jesus,
yeah.
We're still waiting for Seaman with another 100 arses. Since Tubi reached the living long enough to become the villain. Fun fact: most content can be downloaded using YouTube DLP as if they're YouTube videos or an ad blocker. I don't know what YouTube DLP is. Eric probably knows that.
Eric, it's a way to download and preserve YouTube videos, but apparently the same can be used for Tubi. I'm not.
Eric has said something in the comments that I don't think I can repeat, but it is interesting to know.
Eric is well aware of this method. We will say Eric is familiar with this method. Tune into our movie night later this week. No, later this day. Oh
I was going to say in a couple hours.
No, we only got 4 left. Quintuple.
Shout out to Speakeasy saying they're reading out super chats I can no longer see in my scroll bar.
No, we're fine. We only have 4 left. Quintuple, thank you so much with another $2 dono. RIP to the rewind, not lasting half a work day. Fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. We're so close to the end.
If we swap weeks, we could go as long as you want.
I mean, there's no
stretch goal.
No, but then you couldn't do streams with Jenna.
That's true. It would go as long up until Jenna and I stream. So, and then Jenna will just
Jack
join
has a
us.
mental breakdown.
Yeah.
We'll just do we'll do super chats while you guys are streaming a game.
Think about it, Marty. It's genius.
Nice.
It actually sounds really nice.
Snake of the Garden with a €2 dono. Thank you so much, Snake. For Marty's blood pressure, I have surprisingly good blood pressure. Like I am kind of shocked that my blood pressure is good.
Managing the podcast every week is good exercise. Like it's really good.
It builds the muscle.
Like a cardio workout 3 hours today.
Between this and Firelink and trying to wrangle Yahtzee for Windbreaker, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Jonathan Griffin, thank you so much for a $5 dono. I guess follow-up, is Game of Thrones still worth it knowing the ending's bad? I personally think so. I think, especially if you don't know a lot about Game of Thrones, I think it has some of my favorite moments in TV history. So I think it's still, yeah. I also don't think an ending can ruin the thing that came before. I think it's a journey, not the destination. That's just me personally.
I'm an X-Files fan. Like, so yes, the answer is very obviously yes.
I'm a Lost fan.
Marty and I are big Lost fans.
Lost fans, yeah.
But like, that's that used to be the joy of TV, and it should be the joy of TV, is the idea of like, you're not wandering in pursuit of a destination. You're just enjoying the journey. Because it's like, if you're treating everything you buy as a down payment on a finale, how can any finale live up to that? And is that a fair weight to put on it? Like, this is the thing why I don't really like the delayed gratification approach to like franchise building or universe building, or the kind of like Surf Dracula approach that we have to media. It's just like, if you have a good idea, put it in the show now. Put it in the movie now. Don't hold it off until a sequel that is probably not going to get made, or won't get made for years, or will have to be made at a lower budget, or be made by somebody else. If you have a good idea, burn through it as quickly as possible. So yeah, and I agree. I think like, even when Game of Thrones is meandering in its middle seasons, when it's weird and they clearly have no idea what they're doing, why they're doing it, or how long they're going to do it, it is still unlike anything on television at that time. And I'm kind of swept up in the sheer freaking hubris of trying to do that and make television work like that. The ending is a mess. Unlike Jack, I am like, I don't think there was any way to land all of the planes they had launched into the air recklessly in those 5 seasons. I think like those planes were going to hit things on the way down. But part of me admires the gumption of just like looking up and seeing all of them in the air at the same time. I think there is something exhilarating in that.
Agreed. We're back to waiting for Seaman. Jack, if you're looking for a new sponsor, chase after cell phone companies. That way the kids have a good phone to play games while waiting outside for school. Win-win. But wait a minute. What did good luck, have fun, don't die teach us? Too much time on the phones.
Too much time on the phones. That's fair. I'm something I was about to type to Eric, I'll just say out loud, Eric, maybe get like a 2-panel thing prepared, because I do have to leave in 3 minutes, and we still have to go through. Okay. We still have to go through the things Darren watched, which we just won't make it in time.
Darren things we don't have to.
You could just do thumbs up.
Manly fucking rules. That's it.
The testament. Yeah. Jack's like, fucking not picking up the kids. I'm gonna argue.
Yeah. Okay, you guys are gonna wait.
Right now. Get fucked, loser. I got to debate a nerd on the internet.
Wait a minute. Can we say I haven't seen it yet? I will make it a goal to see it by the next episode, and then we can have our testament of Anne Lee.
Okay. Yeah.
I like that.
Jomo Slow-Mo, thank you so. Where's that coming from?
What? Eric, was that you?
Eric, we know we're running late. We're aware. The main character of this podcast, outside of you should watch A Night of the Seven Kingdoms and Fat Dogs Are Fun, is we know we're late. We're aware we're late. Jomo Slow-Mo, thank you so much. Darren's developed podcast shortening measures. Listen. Darren's always got the podcast in mind. And then Snake in the Garden, a €50 dono. Pink as a nice medium rare. To breach 2/3 of the dono goal because my payday is tomorrow, and this cheered me up after a shitty few weeks. Aww. Question: if you go to a fancy bakery, what is your cake or baked good of choice for a treat?
I'm a cookie person.
I am a cookie person.
Any sort of cookie. I will judge someone by their classic chocolate chip. Just
Sure.
like, what do you got? Obviously, like if they have a fancier cookie, I'll get that. But give me your like it's what is it like? Was it Gordon Ramsay who was like, oh, if I have a new chef come into my kitchen, I just have them make scrambled eggs. If they can make scrambled eggs perfectly, they can make whatever. It's like, just
that's
give
like
me your
understanding the
basic
basics.
cookie. Yeah.
Darren,
I'm a millionaire shortbread person, which makes me feel like a class traitor. But like the
Ooh,
caramel and the
yeah.
biscuit and the chocolate, it's just
Hell
it's
yeah.
perfect.
Makes
hell
me
yeah.
feel like a class traitor. I like
The closest I'll come, Marty. It's like the closest I'll come to financial security is holding that biscuit. I'm like,
a fresh buttery croissant right out of the oven.
like a proper baker croissant is incredible.
Yeah.
Real good.
Hell yeah.
Okay, we're at the end of the super chats.
Okay.
Darren, do you want to stick
now.
around two of us and go over what you've been watching, or do we want to wrap up?
I think we just want to wrap up. So I'll say Cold Storage, good. Epic, good. Crime 101, Anley, fantastic. Suck it, Jack. Bone Temple on Digital, fantastic. And Bygan's Resurrection is David Lynch's Inception.
I need to see Resurrection. It played for like 2 days in Milwaukee, but it was during that crazy like blizzard,
Snowstorm.
and so I was like, I'm not driving to Milwaukee for this, but I do really want to see Resurrection.
But we can talk about it next week or some point, but it's incredible. If you get a chance to see it, go see it. It's one of the most stunning films I have seen. So is Anley. Bye.
I'm excited. So is Anley. That's incredible. But can you do that at like a presidential debate? Can you like just be like, suck it, bye. No, I'm done.
I don't have to pick up my kids.
Jack, what should folks know about going on in your world?
Come back on Thursday. I'll be streaming something. Most likely, I'll be streaming Mugenics. I don't think we've streamed that yet, so I'll stream probably stream Mugenics Thursday with me and Jess Hoops. Now that we're done with Dark Souls,
nice.
And then next week Tuesday something. Oh, I think Jen and I are going back to 2D Risk of Rain now that we both have the version that we can do multiplayer. So
will we see the video game within the first half hour? Tune in to find out.
Almost never. This show goes late. Tuesdays with me and Jenna starts late. It's great.
It's more
Darren, obviously, you have new columns and a new backdrop today.
Yeah, so new columns are this weekend. It was on Knights of Seven Kingdoms, and it was also on what was the Friday one on? It's been that long, I can't even remember what I wrote about on Friday. But also, the video to be noble, like looking at the idea of nobility in Knights of Seven Kingdoms, kind of like an expansion of the points that we touched on here. Wonderful edit from Jesse, incredibly fast turnaround. Includes like footage from the season finale, which aired on Sunday. Just stunning work from Jesse, as
Jesse,
ever. So
it goes without saying, Jesse is incredible. How can I not remember the thing? I mean, you wrote it. You probably wrote it several months ago, but I read it like Cold Storage.
Cold Storage. Oh yeah, which I liked, which is it's like a weird creature feature metaphor for our American foreign policy, which I had like a good time with.
Starring the handsome boy from Stranger Things with the nice hair.
Ooh.
Yes, and was clearly made in America. Really made in America.
Wink, wink.
Using
Nudge,
prominent
nudge.
American actors like Liam Neeson, Georgia Campbell, Aaron Heffernan, and Leslie Manville. Like Liam Neeson shows up and he doesn't even try to do an accent as the all-American sergeant. He's like, looks like you've got a real problem here.
Always appreciate that. Gotta appreciate that. So no more streams at Second Wind today. Remember, if you're in the Phoenix tier, 3 hours from now, 5:30 p.m., we're going to be doing our monthly movie hang. Really excited for that. And then normal streams the rest of the week. Yahtzee tries and Casey and I doing more Returnal tomorrow, and then the 3 streams on Thursday, and check out all that stuff. So thank you so much, everyone tuning in. Thank you so much, everyone who donated super chats and all the patrons and everything. Honestly, this is a highlight of my weeks is doing this show. So for
even
Jack
when you ask
Darren,
about Star Trek.
And Eric, we got that timer now. I didn't know we could do. I'm going to invest in like a real nice timer. I just didn't know we could do that. For the 3 of them, this was Marty. Thank you guys so much. This is the Rewind episode number 40. Everyone have a wonderful rest of your afternoons and evenings, and we'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.